if a club wants you or players want you, they want you to be you and they want that version of you. So it's just about me doing that, me adapting to what the team wants and different players and how they play, but then ultimately still showing my qualities and what I'm about.
Gabby O'Bonnell says Rodgers has been a vital component of late. It won't be easy to replace him.
Even his goals and assists, and you've seen some of his goals from outside the box over the last 18 months. But just a player who can get a team up the pitch. You know, there's not many players out there who can receive that ball off the left or in that number 10 position, who can drive with the ball and get a team up the pitch.
Potentially heading in the other direction is Alejandro Garnacho. That appears to be a loan with an obligation to buy. Staying with transfers, it's our understanding Crescenzio Somerville's preference would be a move to Roma. The Hammers have already agreed a £65 million fee with Al Hilal, who've set up a medical. We're also told Roma sent a private jet to London yesterday to pick Somerville up, but he never showed up. Arsenal have signed the Spanish international goalkeeper Misa Rodriguez on a free transfer. The 27-year-old joins the Women's Super League side after leaving Real Madrid, and Donald Trump apparently wants to nominate Gianni Infantino to be Secretary General of the UN. According to the New York Post, Trump believes Infantino is respected by everyone around the world. There's more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister could review the early prisoner release scheme after the family of a police officer killed in the line of duty raised concerns, and a £2 cap on most bus fares will be reintroduced across England from next year. There's more with Emma at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. This summer, treat yourself to Bridgestone Turanza All-Season 6 tyres with a 25,000 mileage guarantee. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Cloud and drizzle in northern areas, warm sunshine for most of us this afternoon.
Anthony Joshua is on the road to destiny. But first, there is danger. Prenga, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. And AJ knows, one moment, one mistake, one punch will change history. AJ is back. But there is danger before destiny.
Hello, despite what you've just been told, this is actually Max Scott and Charlie Baker with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Thank you so much for joining us. What we got coming up this afternoon, Charlie?
Coming up over the next 3 hours, Max, England and Man United star Ella Toone joins us in the studio. That's exciting, isn't it? She's going to talk all things WSL, as does Tour de France winner Geraint Thomas, building up to the Commonwealth Games, and comedians Nick Helm and Mark Steele are both coming in the studio as well for a chat.
Happy days. We're also going to be live in the studio with reality stars turned boxers. There's plenty of them around, but Jack Fincham and Aaron Chalmers ahead of their bare knuckle showdown this Saturday, which is going to be live on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. Plus, Ian Danter is going to be joining us with the very latest from the EFL. We want to hear from you too, so we'll be taking your calls this afternoon as well. 03717 223344 is the number to call. Charlie, what have you been up to, mate?
Well, I went out last night, Max.
Out?
It's pre-season, isn't it? It's pre-season, and do you know what I've never done? I've never done the prawn sandwich. Never been for the whole prawn sandwich thing. But last night I was invited to huge game, biggest game all summer, I suggest.
Is that because you were there?
No, it's Torquay Plymouth, which is about as big as it gets, Max. And I was really well looked after last night, Max. I was full director's box.
Yeah.
Hospitality if wanted, whether I wanted it or not. As many chips as I could eat.
What was on offer?
Oh, as many chips as I could eat.
Just chips.
They offered me full dinner. I didn't want it. I don't really like hospitality. I don't like feeling like I'm at a wedding.
And do you get glares from other fans around?
No, not at all. No, they were very, very nice. Really well looked after by Luke Maker, who's the commercial manager at Torquay United, and they're the sort of people who run clubs. It all goes on in the background, and they run clubs. Absolutely brilliant. And I took Josh Widdicombe with me, who's a big Plymouth fan.
Yeah.
Next host of Strictly, of course. We had a very,
Is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
We had a very, very nice time. It was a brilliant game. Torquay looked good, Max.
Good. Good team.
I'll tell you what.
What was the score?
We're going to win it by Christmas. We lost 1-0. But it's pre-season. It doesn't matter. But I love it. I love a pre-season game because you see players you haven't seen in ages. You see who's had a nice summer.
Is there any new signings you're excited about?
Absolutely loads. Absolutely
breaking
loads.
the bank.
We have broken the bank. Full new team. And Plymouth looked good as well. So Tom Cleverley is in charge of Plymouth now.
Yeah, exciting.
Yeah. It was a great night. A great night at Playmore. So thank you very much to everyone down there.
Yeah, happy day. I'm actually heading out to Portugal for a bit of Forest pre-season training, which I'm very excited about. I think Forest, I haven't got the final score yet, but they kicked off against Blackburn at 11 a.m. this morning for a pre-season game.
Behind closed doors or?
Well, no, not behind closed doors. I think Forest get a great following for pre-season, and they're in Villamora this summer. So it's not a bad place to go, post-World Cup.
Yeah.
And did you find, actually, that... Because I'm one of my coping mechanisms for the disappointment of the World Cup is just to fully focus on Forest. In fact, the day after we obviously got beat by Argentina, I watched 33 minutes start to finish of Oliver Glasner's first press conference.
Oh, nice.
And I found it quite therapeutic.
Nice
just
coping strategy.
Distract myself.
Yeah.
Did you find that yesterday?
I did exactly the same thing when we got knocked out via Argentina. Do you know what I put on immediately?
What?
The 1990 playoff final at Wembley, Torquay versus Blackpool, which we won on penalties.
Yeah.
I thought I'm going to have to watch something now just for a little bit of positivity. So I put that on. I wonder what people... Actually, we could do that on the text. 81089. What's your coping strategy? What would you watch? What's the game that you'd go and watch?
Yeah, I love that. Or what have you done to get over the absolute dismay of that capitulation? But we're not going to drag that back.
Don't drag it out.
We're not going to drag that back. In fact, there has been some breaking news just as we got to air. So we're going from Torquay to Man City because Phil Foden has signed a new contract at City until 2030. He says, committing my future to City means everything to me. Playing for this club is all I ever wanted to do, and it's always an honour to wear the shirt. Never lost on me how lucky I've been, etc., etc. Interesting one, Phil Foden, because we know what a stunning player he can be, but he's kind of been out of the limelight.
I wonder if they've shown him some love this summer, because he was obviously left out of the England squad.
Yeah.
And it was under that banner of personality reasons a lot of the time. Because obviously we know he's a brilliant footballer, but Thomas Tuchel said he didn't take some players because of, not quite fitting into the squad. So I wonder if Man City have shown him some love this summer and gone, look, we love you, stay with us. You've won loads of championships with us. You've won loads of trophies with us. You've won the Champions League with us. We think you're amazing. We'll get you back in the England side.
I hope so, because, particularly... I can't help it. I can't help but get onto the Tuchel stuff. But particularly if his concern is around ball retention and around DNA of English football, Phil Foden's one of the greatest young players that we've produced in this country in terms of technical ability. And so you would like to think that on his day he could have an impact for England. But great news for City, great news for Phil Foden, who, of course, you mentioned it there, he has had a tough old time, a tough old season. And so hopefully we see the best of him.
Has he ever turned up for England? Has he ever really shown?
Well, that's the thing. No, I don't think he has.
Has he shown his best for England?
No, I don't think he has.
Why do you think that is, Max?
Because what's his position? I don't even know what his position is for City. What's his best position? And maybe that's the problem. If you've got these players that are so technically gifted and can do it all with the ball to feet, there needs to be a concrete role for players like him. And it's arguably the same with loads of players in that England team. But we're trying to be positive. I've just got a text through. No name on it, but thank you. Forest won 3-0. Happy days. I was Pete, the Forest fan in Edinburgh.
Oh, very
Happy
good.
days. 33 mins of Oliver Glasner. Inspiring. He won't be so inspiring when he can't get his own way. Darren, the Palace fan. Well, your mate's coming in a little bit later on, who is also a Palace fan.
Mark Steele's coming in a bit later on. Big Palace fan, who's going to probably pick a bone or two with you about Glasner. But, we'll take calls on Phil Foden as well. If people want to tell us, Man City fans want to tell us all what they think of that.
Where does he fit into the England squad? Is this going to be a re-breakthrough season for Phil Foden? Because he's already done it.
How old is he now? 22?
He's a young buck, isn't he?
He's still young.
On the topic of pre-season, though, something that caught my eye on the way into work this morning was a report that Wolves' training was cancelled yesterday because Tolu Arokodare refused to leave the pitch when he was asked not to train with the squad, specifically by new boss Cesar Peixoto, who is seemingly not tolerating and clamping down on player power. So he's had to cancel training. But they've gone a step further. Because he's refused to leave and caused a scene, according to this report, extra security was enforced at Compton Park to prevent Orokodare coming into training. You came up with a great text topic.
Well, when did you refuse to leave?
8-10-89. When did you refuse to leave? I mean, I've been trying to think of some. There's definitely been a couple of times, in my teenage years where I was removed from a classroom or told to leave and refused to leave.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't want to get out of there.
Maybe from a sort of deep sense of injustice.
Why were they asking Tole Rokodare to leave? Do you know?
No idea.
Because they want him to. So a lot of the time, players, if they're on a good contract, they won't leave, will they? They won't leave clubs. They won't go out the door.
Because they know it's not going to get much better.
It's not going to get any better. So if he feels like he's not going anywhere, but then, you speak to Troy Deeney, who's on after us with Andy, is often players will go, well, if you keep me, I'll just start fouling everyone, injuring everyone. So, player power.
Yes. Have you got a story of refusing to leave?
Oh, I always leave. How do you think I'm here? Refuse to leave.
In fact, my missus told me a story not too long ago that she went to a restaurant for her birthday that she was very excited about. She's a big foodie.
Yeah.
But it was one of those where as soon as you put a knife and fork down for the start, they take it away and bring out the main straight away. And she really wanted to enjoy it and bask in being in this quite expensive restaurant. And as soon as she hadn't even finished dessert, and they said, "Oh, sorry, we need you to leave," because there was a celebrity that was waiting for their seat, and she said, "No, I'm going to finish my dessert."
Yeah, that was like me last night. Torquay United,
eighth prawn sandwich down.
Exactly.
Sort of choking a little bit, but I'm not going to leave.
Exactly. No, I don't think I don't think I've ever refused to leave. I think if I'm not wanted, I'll leave. Just off I go.
You're not setting up this text topic.
I know, but people will have
8-10-89. When have you refused to leave? Because we're hearing that Tole Orokodare's caused absolute chaos at the training ground. They've brought in security. Have you ever been in a situation where security has had to come and remove you?
How big is Tole Rokodare? There are loads of big footballers. I suppose they don't want to get involved. They don't want to get involved.
Absolutely not. Right, you're listening to Hawksby and Jacobs with me, Max Scott, and Charlie Baker. On talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Join the Toolstation Trade Club and get 10% off all electrical lighting products when you buy cable and flexes. First up, Toolstation. Next up, Zella 2.
Let's talk about this story doing the rounds overnight about Pep Guardiola and Italy. Italy, of course, not part of the World Cup jamboree. Does raise the question, Kev, because we know now that there was a verbal agreement in place between the English FA and Pep Guardiola as recently as 2024. Obviously, that didn't quite happen in the end. If he is serious, Guardiola, about taking an international job, in the wake of that collapse against Argentina, is there an argument for the FA making a play now for Guardiola and deciding to pivot from Thomas Tuchel?
Yeah, look, I'd love nothing more than to see Pep in charge of our national team. And I think not only that, I think he'll give us something which will give us direction for not only just for the next 2 years, 4 years. He could help the FA within it. And, I've been part of that. I know the culture and the DNA of what Thomas was talking about in, last week and what they're trying to achieve. But I think Pep could add something different. I think he's got something, he'll give us a style, he'll give us an identity of what he sees the game, how he sees it. And I think he'll be one who'll want to help everybody all down the line, if you like, the 21s, the 18s. I think he'll bring it all together so that it's all aligned and everything else, because I think that's probably what's needed now after Gareth and what he done. And it was, when everybody forgets a fantastic job what he done behind the scenes and everything else. We then went to Thomas to go and win us the trophy to get us over it. It hasn't happened. So if there's an opportunity now where our number one target of 2 years ago,
Anthony Joshua is on the road to destiny. But first, there is danger. Prenga, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. And AJ knows, one moment, one mistake, one punch will change history. AJ is back. But there is danger before destiny.
Only half clears away for Wales, and Rousseau's round the keeper. Roberts gets back. Toon off the line. Toon again. Tucks it in. 2-0 to England. Toon 25 yards out, dead centre. Nash he can strike it. What a magnificent goal! Lauren James, deep ball to the far post. Toon! She's done it! The Lionesses have come roaring back.
Yeah, good afternoon. You're listening to talkSPORT. Me, Max Scott, alongside Charlie Baker. And as we told you, as you've just delighted to say, we've got Ella Toon in the building, England star, Man United star. Can I just start off by saying, what summer for you, by the way?
I know, it's been a bit mad.
You got married.
Yeah.
You got an MBE.
Yeah.
And then 11 out of your 12 large eggs were double yokers.
I know. I need to put the lottery on.
Actually, can we get your numbers for the lottery, please?
Honestly, it's been mad. And these past few days with the whole egg saga has been the best.
Egggate.
The best 3 days of my life.
For people who haven't seen it, can you talk us through Egggate?
So I've bought a large box of eggs from Aldi.
Okay.
Cracked the first two, because I always have like eggs for breakfast. Both double yolkers, and I'm like, wow, what is going on? This is sick. So then, the day after, I was like, oh, Joe, do you want scrambled eggs? 4 double yolkers. So then I was like, oh my God, I'm going to London, so I need to eat the rest of my eggs because I can't.
Yeah.
Like,
The
I can't.
anticipation.
It's killing me.
Yeah.
So then I had 2 more the day after, and then I was like, right, Joe, we're having scrambled again. So I whacked all 4 in the pan. All of them were doubles until the last one was a single. What are the chances that it was the last
And
one?
you said you had no honeymoon.
Well,
Look at that. You've had 8 double yoker eggs.
honestly.
Unbelievable.
it was amazing, yeah.
That's got to top it. I think, MBE, absolute honour.
Yeah, but
Was it Prince William you were with?
yeah,
I mean, that's pretty good.
yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
Marrying the love of your life.
Yeah.
But 11 double yokers on the trot.
Nothing's beating that. Nothing's beating it.
You don't need to do any more pre-season prep, mate. You got all the protein you need.
Yeah, honestly, it's been mad. And that was the best money I've ever spent because really I've got 24 eggs in my 12.
Unbelievable.
So it's been amazing.
Incredible. Do you think it was the same chicken?
That's what I've been
Do you
saying.
think it was the same chicken for the whole?
It's been a
for the
super
whole
chicken,
11?
hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. You need
But
to.
everyone was texting me saying you've defo bought double yolkers, and I didn't even know you could do that.
No.
What? It's an actual thing.
You can buy double yoker eggs.
I didn't.
Well, don't say that because that makes it not special.
But on the
it's then
packet it
you've
said
got-
large. It said large eggs from Aldi. It didn't say anything about double yolk.
I tell you what, breaking news: Chelsea have just offered 100 million for that chicken. They're interested.
I've never seen double yokers ever be advertised. I'm going to look because I like Aldi. It's
Yeah.
great. Particularly in London, we were talking about that off air. Talk to us, Ella, because away from sort of your playing career, you've got involved with Chorley Women.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, and because I find it interesting. I'm a Forest fan. I love following players like, for example, Ola Aina, as well as having an incredible playing career. He's up to absolutely loads sort of off the pitch, and for me, I like to see that players do that, whether it's YouTube, whether it's punditry, whatever. Is this sort of a part of it? You're only 26, but is this sort of part of you sort of planning ahead for the future as well?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's really important to do that because, as we know, as footballers, like your football career is not that long, so you got to set yourself up for the future. And obviously, off the back of winning a couple of Euros, the game's gone massive.
Yeah.
And that's when more things start to happen. And yeah, you've just got to get yourself out there, use your platform as best as you can. And yeah, I've now become strategic advisor for Chorley Women. They were struggling a little bit, so I've gone in to help keep them, going. And yeah, I also have an academy as well, and hopefully that's a pathway for them girls to play in Tier 4 football. But yeah, I've got loads going on, and it's really exciting.
Unbelievable. Tell us a little bit about, because I know your husband as well is well into sort of coaching and women's football. Where did that sort of begin? Like, at what point in your career did you kind of get to a point of, actually, it's not just about me and my career and my development. It's also about, other girls that want to get into the game.
Well, I think obviously growing up, women's football wasn't as big back then, so there wasn't as many people that you could look up to and aspire to be. And I was at United for 7 years and there was no women's team, so you could never really... I always wanted to play for Man United. That was my team. That was my club that I loved, but I could never see it. Whereas now I'm in that position where young girls can now look up to me. I'm a role model, and then I think, what can I do to give back? How can I help these young girls start out in their journeys, give them a platform and a place to play and enjoy football? So that's why me and Joe have started ET7 Academy. We've got 120 girls in there now.
Amazing.
And hopefully we can keep growing it. And yeah, like I say, it's about giving back and doing what I can for the future girls in football.
And what's the what's the limit for Chorley women? What's the ceiling, do you think? Do you think they can grow and grow and grow?
Yeah, definitely. I think they can grow and grow and grow. That it's a massive club. It's been around for a long, long time, and yeah, it would have been a shame for them not to carry on and be successful. And hopefully, me coming in and helping out and bringing sponsors, and yeah, it's gonna grow. It's gonna be good, and hopefully they can continue to go up the football pyramid. But yeah, they're already an amazing established club.
Is it hard because you're a player, you know, and do you think that sort of jump from, you know, being a professional, representing your country, representing a massive club like Man United, do you think that's given you, because you glean from people around you, and you'll come across like top brass at top clubs, whether it's the FA or United, do you think you've already sort of got a bit of a sense about what it is to run a club just from being around it?
Yeah, obviously my main focus is being a footballer and stepping out onto the pitch and being the best player I can be and helping my team, whether that be Man United or England. But because I've been in the game so much, I understand, you know, a lot of things to do with it. But I have really good people around me who can really help and, you know, push Charlie in a way that it needs to be pushed. And yeah, hopefully I can bring in opportunities from my side and really help push them along the way.
When you're developing girls and women now to become footballers, do you ever look at it and go, "Oh, I didn't get any. I didn't that didn't exist when I even when you started." What sort of changes has there been in the game since you started?
Yeah,
just training.
It's been massive. Yeah. I think just opportunities, even like facilities and pitches and things like that. It's massive now. There's so many more girls wanting to play football, which is amazing. I think when I was at school, it was just me, the only girl, and I had to drag all my mates to make a girls' team. And now, you know, there's so many, and it's, the game's growing. There's still so much more for it to grow, so much more we can push it. But as players who have won Euros now, it's how can we continue to do that, continue to develop these young girls. But yeah, it's amazing for them, and there's going to be some unreal players when we get older.
So where are you at now? Season starts September.
Yeah.
What's happening for you other than overloading on protein? Be careful. Be careful. There might be a Conor Ben situation on our hands. Too many eggs. Where are you at in terms of pre-season?
Yeah, well, we go back in on Sunday. So we've had quite a
Sunday.
A good, I know, a bit random.
Who starts on a Sunday, Max?
Yeah, that
Just
is
put us on a Monday, you know what I mean? But yeah, we've had a good summer off. This is the first summer off I've had proper because we've had back-to-back tournaments and whatnot. So yeah, it's been nice to switch off. But back in pre-season, I think 6-week build-up and then ready to start the season in September. But yeah, it's going to be a tough season. There's been a lot of signings, a lot of teams getting stronger.
There's been some money spent. London City Lionesses, who went for it a bit last year, and this summer have really sort of put a line in the sand.
Yeah, I mean, the WSL is probably the best league in the world, so all these top players want to come and play in it, so it grows the women's game. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. I don't think anyone is guaranteed to beat anyone in the league, and that's what makes it the best league. So yeah, I just want to make sure I get my head down, work hard, and put on big performances.
When we talk about WSL being the best league, you see it. You see it from some of the star players that they're not necessarily going abroad. We've seen Mary Earps come back to London City Lionesses, who are spending a lot of money. We've seen Beth Mead leave Arsenal, go to City. Kate McCabe leaving. Like on Beth Mead, she's a good mate of yours.
Yeah,
you're looking forward to playing her in a derby.
Yeah, I am. She's a top player, top person. But yeah, when I put that shirt on and I'm playing against Man City, no one's my mate. So yeah,
no one's safe.
No one's safe. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I'll show her around Manchester and show her that it's better than London.
Yeah. How's your game improved? Do you think? Does your game improve when you win things because you get more confidence, so you feel like you're stronger on the pitch because you can trust yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I think when you win games, you like you say, your confidence gets bigger and bigger. But also the games that you lose, you learn the most from. They're the ones that you learn a lot from as a player and as a team as well. But I think winning like a Euros back to back, you have that confidence, you have that hunger of what winning feels like, and you make sure that you go out on the pitch and you give absolutely everything to do it again.
You say, you've finally got like a bit of a hard-earned rest after sort of back-to-back tournaments, back-to-back Euros titles. Obviously, the England men's boys have just sort of returned. A lot of them are pretty much straight back into it.
Yeah.
We see now, the likes of Declan Rice played so much football. But as well as winning things, you lost that World Cup final and then went straight back in. How hard is it for these players to sort of switch off and get you know, and you've seen the pressure that these players are under. How hard is it for them to sort of, start fresh?
Yeah, it's difficult. I think people don't understand, like, as footballers, there's so many more lows than there is highs in football. And when you do have a high, you've got to just enjoy the moment because they go like that. And the lows is where, you've got to pick yourself up and go again. And you've got to make sure you have that time to really switch off, to decompress, to look back on everything that you've done in the tournament. But then it's like, right, what's next? And they're going straight back into club football.
Yeah,
so
that's a massive thing for me. The fixture congestion as a fan. Like, I don't mind if there's a little bit less football, like this stuff about 64-team World Cup or the expansion of European tournaments. Yeah, it's great for lots of fans that want to watch it, but I can't help but you look at the minutes Jude Bellingham's done, at his age compared to Rooney, it's thousands and thousands more. And I just think eventually players, like, it is going to have a physical impact on them, are going to be worn down. And I can't help but, do you feel that as a player do you feel the sort of stresses of playing more and more football?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely had its toll on my body. I've had a couple injuries in the past couple of years, whereas at the start of my career I was injury-free, touch wood. And it's just the build-up of games, the build-up of minutes and the toll that it takes on your body and also your mental, you're constantly preparing for the next game and you're not really switching off. So it does have that knock-on effect. And yeah, it's difficult, but as footballers, we love playing football.
Yeah.
So then it's like...
I suppose you don't get any
playing.
better. You sort of just survived. I read a meme earlier on. Do you want to hear the meme?
Cool.
It's, for a tool to get sharper, you have to stop using it. So, I liked how you...
but it's true.
That's what we're talking about. Overplaying and not stopping and thinking, how do I get better? That stuff. And that's what I think Arsenal might have a slightly slow start.
I was about to say I'm worried
Arsenal
for
men's.
Arsenal. I'm not worried at all.
Arsenal men's.
But I do think... Did you ever feel that you come in, overcooked sort of into the season and you think, am I going to last this?
Yeah, definitely. I think off the back of the last Euros, I had about a week to 10 days off. And I was like, right. And it's hard because you're on such a high and you've got to try and just like switch off and chill out. And then next minute you're just back in club. And it's like, wow, like I've not even had time to process. I'm on such a high and now I'm back in pre-season doing doggies on the pitch. You know what I mean? It's like,
running.
It is really difficult as a footballer to really find that balance and use your time off wisely. Cause
Baggy Neil's been in touch. He says, Ella Toone, what a woman. She is my couch the 5K mentor. Are you one of the voices?
Nice. Yeah, I am, yeah.
Are you,
I am, yeah.
So there we are. Baggy Neil's doing the couch the 5K with you in his ear.
Well, look, on the topic of Ella Toone and pre-season, Ella's sticking with us. We're going to continue this chat after the break. You're listening to Max Scott, Charlie Baker, Ella Toone on talkSPORT. Stay with us.
I rate Aston Villa. I know the size and the history of the club. They're a big, passionate support. This is bonkers because I rate Emery as well. I have no idea what anyone at Aston Villa have seen in Alejandro Garnacho to think that he is perhaps a solution. I just don't understand it.
Talk to me about the player.
He's a reprehensible character. I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing.
What was that word again?
Reprehensible, horrible, objectionable. I mean,
Google.
Hateful. There's very little to like about him. I think that he's a man who's in it for himself. I've seen nothing to suggest that he's a player that he believes he is.
He's 22.
It doesn't matter.
No, both of you chill out. You're grown men. Hammering this poor lad.
He's not 16.
Poor lad.
No, but he's 22, and I get it. He's got all the riches in the world.
5 years at 22.
But I think it is overkill. He is
It's
a
not
good
overkill. No, it's underkill.
He's a good player.
I'm not intelligent
He's
enough.
in the Premier
I
League
can.
for a reason.
I'm not intelligent enough
He's
or
been
articulate enough
considered
to
by
do
Villa for a reason.
justice
He's
to
been at your
how
club for a
objectionable this
reason.
bloke is.
Can you ignore her?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Can you finish?
I am trying, yeah.
Talk amongst yourself.
Okay, to any Villa fans, to any season ticket holder in that whole end, I tell you this is an error, a mistake, something that will haunt you. And it's a terrible, terrible statement for Aston Villa. He will disrupt your dressing room. He is not the player that people think he is. Do you know the kind of player that he is, really? He should be running the wing at Cadiz. That's the level of footballer that he is. He should be running the wing at Iber, at best. this belief, that he is somehow a fantastic talent that just needs the right manager to
Boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters, but it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the taxman at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like 5 grand, 10 grand for a 6-rounder or something because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
Anthony Joshua is on the road to destiny. But first, there is danger. Prenga, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. And AJ knows, one moment, one mistake, one punch will change history.
Funk here on Baker.
Yeah, I like that. I always think this sounds like a spy series. I always think
it reminds me. It's Austin Powers like.
Yeah, a bit of that. Yeah. Thanks to the people who've called us Max and Scott. Yeah, so far. That's been great.
People sometimes text in they assume my name is Sam.
Sure.
You think I look like a Sam?
You look like Big Sam.
You do look like a Sam.
Yeah,
you think?
I've just got that Sam energy.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Ella Toon's still in the studio now.
Yeah.
Well, Ella, we mentioned that you've had a busy summer, marriage, double yolks, MBE. Yeah. What was that like, by the way? Do you feel awkward going into those situations?
Yeah. That's really not me and my family. Like we just had to be like really posh. And to be fair, I looked quite all right until I opened my mouth, and then everyone was like, "I just do not suit being in here." But no, it was amazing.
What are you allowed to do? You're allowed to like put geese across Tower Bridge or something now?
Yeah, I don't actually know. I need to look up.
But do you have now extra powers?
Like a few little things, like I can get married in this certain place, or I can get my baby christened there, or something like that. Yeah,
that's good.
I wish,
an X-ray vision. Is that one of the powers you get as well? X-ray vision?
So.
No.
What was your chat like with Prince William? Was it brief?
It was all right. It was all right. It was about football. He was going to watch Villa in the final.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about that, and then he was asking about my football, my injury, things like that. But it was good because we had that in common. Whereas a lot of people were like in and out, whereas we were having like a proper footy chat. It was good.
He'll be gutted about Morgan Rogers.
Yeah.
When he Prince, do you think he'd be able to?
Could he become a shareholder in Villa with all?
He must think. I'll be the king of England one day. Surely I can stop Morgan Rogers going to Chelsea.
It'd be great if we've seen that the intervention, haven't we? Trump in Balogun's red car. Prince William calling up Morgan Rogers.
Did you watch the Men's World Cup, Ella?
Watched bits and bobs. Yeah, I really struggled to get up for that Mexico one. Couldn't get up.
That
was the best game.
Yeah.
Too many eggs.
Yeah, I went out and watched the Ghana one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So
the worst one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
basically, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I did manage to watch a few bits. Yeah.
And what did you think? I thought we played well in about 20-minute bits in each game.
Yeah, Yeah, I think so. But I feel like in tournament football, and especially someone who's played in it, sometimes it's not about how you play, it's finding a way to win.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't remember, if you win it, don't remember the performances. Like, look at us at the Euros. We didn't play great.
Yeah, talk us through that. Actually, that's a good, because I always remember that with Euro '96. You watch Euro '96. I mean,
I was 3.
You're both too young. But we hold that up as this tournament where we were amazing. We beat Netherlands 4-1, and the rest
that's about it.
Rubbish for the rest of the tournament. You know, how were you during the tournament? What were your results? Can you remember?
Well, we lost the first game to France, and I think that was probably the best thing that could have happened to us, because then we had a bit of a rocket after that, and then we were like, right. Then the next game, I think it was the Netherlands. We played really well. And then Wales, we played really well in that game. And then we got into like the knockouts and the quarters and the semis, and it was just like, you just got to find a way to win. Like, we were going all the way through, like, into extra time. We were going to penalties. Like, it was mad.
And does that change from a coaching point of view, from a mental point of view? How does the manager change you in the dressing room?
Yeah, obviously there's loads of tactical information that you can get on at half time and you can try and implement in the game. But a lot of it is mentality and wanting to win and, you know, running harder than the other team. All of that stuff. So, and it's about being a team and running for the person next to you as well. And I think we did that really well. But yeah, we managed to get the win, and that's all that matters.
A lot is made about the difference between tournament football and domestic league football. Off the top of your head, what's the biggest difference you notice, particularly between sort of Serena Wiegman and Mark? What's the difference in terms of the way they manage and the instructions you're given?
Yeah, I mean, tournament football's hard because the games come thick and fast. And you have a couple of days on the pitch between games. So it's about getting the key information on quick, implementing it in 1 or 2 sessions, whereas with Mark at United, we'll have like a game on a Sunday and then a game the next Sunday, so you have the full week then to prepare. So you get drip-fed more information across more days, whereas with Serena, it's like, right, you've got 1 day turnaround, 2 day turnaround. It's about getting the key information in quick. But yeah, they're both very different managers, and we've had success with both.
Well, I was going to say, Mark Skinner's been there a long time, you know, and we're seeing more and more of sort of a managerial, not merry-go-round, but changes happening in the WSL. He's been a stalwart for a long time at United. You've come close in terms of winning the title. Is that still very much, that's A1, that's what we need to achieve this season?
Yeah, of course. Especially for me as a player, that's what you want to do. You want to win trophies. And for me, being at the club that I've grown up supporting, I want to win trophies at Man United, and the club also has that ambition. A club like United is known for winning trophies in the past. So, yeah, I think as players, you don't play football not to win. So we've just got to make sure that we, you know, put on performances, dig deep every week. And like I said before, the league's getting stronger and stronger, and there's more top players coming to the league. So, yeah, it's going to be tough, but...
You're inspiring people, Ella. PD and Devon's been in touch. Afternoon, gents. Please let Ella know my little niece started playing football off the back of the Euros in 2019. She still tries to practice that goal. Ella scored in the final. Hell of a finish. And a truly... Do you run that finish over and over in your head, Ella, when you close your eyes? Can you still see it?
I can see
you
it,
still feel it?
I can still see it and feel it. And I do, I'll admit, I watch it back quite a bit because I just love it.
I'd watch it all the time.
I scored a goal at the City Ground.
Yeah, and I've seen that.
Yeah. And I put it out on social media, best moment of my life. I still watch that back.
Feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I've never done that. But, Ella, we mentioned the Chorley stuff, and I know you're only 26, but are you, in terms of post-career, have you got an idea about what you want to get into? Like,
I can hear a gaffer speaking, can't you? I can hear a gaffer.
Management?
No, I don't think I'd go into management now.
Why not?
Because I couldn't deal with players like me moaning every day at me. So, no. I just want to go on I'm a Celeb. Really?
Really? Okay.
Said it here first.
Said it here.
Yeah, I want to go on I'm a Celeb. I don't know. I just enjoy just being me.
Why do you want to go on I'm a Celeb? I couldn't think of anything worse.
Because that's the programme I've watched since being a little kid. And I've just loved it. And then you watch Jill Scott go and win it.
Yeah, so the Jill Scott career path.
Yeah, I want to do Jill. I want to just be Jill, yeah.
You have to call people things in the final.
Yeah, true.
When that's what you have to come.
Yeah, she got caught on
Swear
camera.
at other players, yeah.
And what? And in terms of punditry, is that on the cards?
I mean, I'd give it a go, yeah. I feel like I can talk a good game. I understand the game, but it's obviously difficult when you sat watching it and whatever. But yeah, I'd like to give it a try.
Sam's been in touch. Ella Toon, such a great guest. Remember watching her England debut off the bench. Who was that against? Ella?
That was against Ireland, Northern Ireland, I think, yeah. Came on at half-time.
And the fact she's only 26 is crazy. It feels like she's been around forever. You're like a national treasure already, I'd say.
Yeah, that's a positive thing, not a bad thing.
Keep smashing it on and off the pitch, says Sam.
Thanks,
brilliant.
Sam.
Yeah, brilliant.
Ella, thank you so much for joining us, mate.
Amazing.
It's been an
Thanks for
absolute
having me.
pleasure. Sorry, where did you get the double yokers from?
Aldi. Take yourself to Aldi and get large.
I've never had one in my life.
Well, you might have a chance if you get the large ones from Aldi.
All right, it's been an absolute pleasure. Ella Toon, Man United, Lioness legend, thanks so much for joining us.
Ella, thank you.
You're listening to Baker and Scott on talkSPORT. Loads to come, and Geraint Thomas coming up next.
What do you make of the transfers? And also Maddison's back. You know, maybe Kulusevski coming back as well. You got some key players back as well.
I'm excited. I really am. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with the team. It looks like he's got some real kind of men in. You know, like with Tonali and Robertson, people who are going to, you know, like leaders on the pitch. I think that's what we needed. You know, it seems to me like he's going for a type of side who are going to have some energy in the middle of the park. With a bit of experience and kind of like a bit. I want to see a bit more like housery from us. Do you know, like a bit like Arsenal have done.
Yeah.
You know, a bit more like know how to win, and because we've been a soft touch. We've played some decent games, but then like we'll throw away goals and points at the end of the game.
And it's time to embrace playing in that outstanding stadium.
Yeah,
getting a home crowd on side. Don't fear playing there like they have done for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Like embrace it and make it a fortress.
Yeah, I'm happy with what we've done so far. We've still got to figure out what we're going to do on the left. Like the left wing for me is an issue. Who's going to play out there? No, we don't want Garnacho.
You want to take over?
No, you take Garnacho, mate. He's a good player. Take Garnacho.
He's good. You have him.
No, I think he's a good player, mate.
Why didn't you outbid?
Anthony Joshua is on the road to destiny. But first, there is danger. Prenga, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. And AJ knows, one moment, one mistake, one punch will change history. AJ is back. But there is danger before destiny.
Good afternoon, you're listening to Scott and Baker here on talkSPORT. And at the top of the show, we gave you a little bit of a story coming out from the Wolves camp that Tolu Arokadare's refused to leave training after being asked to leave. So, of course, we asked you, when have you refused to leave? Ed in London says, I went to see my hero, Novak Djokovic, at the O2 Arena.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't only him, but Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, Andy Murray were also there. I was on not just cloud 9. He was on cloud 999, Charlie. When they came out,
clouds.
And I saw them play. But I had my telephoto camera lens, and security told me I wasn't allowed it. I had to be mindful of getting home in time to pick up my primary school daughter. I couldn't risk being able to find security in time. Security got heavy-handed with me, and I got more defiant. They ended up grabbing maybe all of my limbs and carrying me aloft into the lift, and I passed a load of onlookers, thrown out at the entrance. So yeah, unceremonious
Would
departure.
not leave the O2.
I quite like that though.
I don't mind it.
Do you think
he's enjoying it?
Sometimes it's just the bureaucracy of life, the paperwork, the rules of life. I don't want to take pictures of my star.
When you get a job's worth, I mean, stewards do a good job 99% of the time.
Yeah.
When you get a job's worth one, you sort of think, come on.
I tell you what, I don't like. I don't like being told to sit down.
Oh,
even when there's a penalty or a penalty's been chalked off and fans stand up.
If it was me, I'd understand it, Max. But you are what, 6'4", 6'5"?
6'7", mate.
So, yeah, 6'7". I don't want to be stood. I don't want to be sat behind you in the cinema.
Do you tell people to sit down in front of you?
Sit down, mate. Oh, we were at the boxing once at the O2. In fact, who was it? It was Lawrence Okoli. Is fighting a Polish guy.
Right.
And there are a lot of Polish fans there. Quite a lot of Polish fans. There was one who was the noisiest man I think I've seen in my whole life. Was just there constantly
in front of
me. And every time this Polish guy came out of the ring, this guy would stand up and put his arms out to watch. I missed the whole fight. He was the biggest man, but I couldn't say anything.
No,
I'm 5'8".
You got to pick your battles.
You got to pick your battle. Yeah. But eventually, he was having a laugh. And I said, well, you couldn't sit down, could you? And he said, oh, of course. Moved along a bit, just stood up in front of the other guy. But there we are. You can get double yolk eggs in young hens. That's what I've been Googling.
I didn't realise it was a formal thing. I didn't realise that.
It's not luck. It's not luck. Young hens will do double yolks. I don't know if you can buy them on purpose. Because how would you see? Holding up to the light? I don't know. I'm the countryside one. I should know that sort of thing. John in Tottenham's been in touch. We were asking what was your coping strategy for the England-Argentina game? Feels like a long time ago now. A lifetime ago.
It feels like
I watched Torquay Blackpool, but John in Tottenham, my go-to game in times of football woe was always a VHS of the 1984 UEFA Cup final, where we, Spurs, beat Anderlecht on penalties. Either that or the Cannonball Run. Have you seen either of those things?
No.
Do you know what the Cannonball Run is? Oh, you're missing out, Max.
Should I know it at the age of 33?
No, you should see it.
What is it?
It's a movie with Burt Reynolds in.
Right.
And it's about a race across America. And the Cannonball Run. It's got loads of good jokes. There are some women in it.
Okay. I'll watch it
in Lamborghini Countach's.
Okay.
There's da da da. There's a character. There's a sheriff character that keeps having accidents. It's one of the greatest films of all time.
Cannonball Run.
Look,
I'll stick it on the list.
It's not going to make you any cleverer watching the Cannonball Run.
I don't need that.
But you're going to have a better afternoon.
Keep your text coming in, 81089. What have your coping mechanisms been? Or when have you refused to leave? I think they're the best stories, refusing to leave. I've done it from a classroom, and that's about it. Also, it's worth talking about. We're gonna head to a guest in a moment. But talkSPORT has secured historic Commonwealth Games broadcast rights and signed multi-medalist Greg Rutherford, Christina Horrigu and Lewis Richardson for Glasgow 2026. Commonwealth Games, of course, lastminute.com in Glasgow. New Zealand couldn't afford it. So it's happening in Glasgow.
There we are.
talkSPORT, the place.
I like the Commonwealth Games because you get smaller nations taking part and having a chance at medals.
Yeah.
But also you'll get like Crown Green Bowls?
Yeah.
They do. And they do some of the sports you go, well, I've
never seen it.
You don't see this sport for the other 4 years.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden.
What is the curling of the Commonwealth Games?
I think it's the Crown Green Bowls. But and now I'm saying Crown Green Bowls. It might just be bowls.
Because I think
someone will
we've seen a slightly stripped back version of the Commonwealth Games because of the financial implications.
Of course.
But someone who has won a Commonwealth Games medal is Geraint Thomas. He's going to be joining us in a minute. If you were to compete in the Commonwealth Games in an obscure sport,
well, you do feel like you could get in on the bowling because a lot of the people who do the bowling in the Commonwealth Games are in their 50s and 60s. And maybe not anymore. They used to be. There was one guy who used to play, David Bryant, who used to play for England, I'm assuming, because it's the Commonwealth Games, and he'd smoke a pipe.
Wow.
So is it a sport if you can smoke a pipe?
I think so. I think bring it back.
I think Cundy has a theory. You can't call it a sport if you can play it in slippers, because he says that about snooker and darts.
I think that's harsh. I think Luke Littler is a sportsman, and you can definitely play darts in.
Do you think we should bring back sports people smoking pipes?
If they want to.
I think that'd be good.
Outside only, though, of course.
The Spanish keeper could have had one on during the World Cup final.
Mate.
Would have been lovely, wouldn't it?
Let's not talk about that, because I look at that game and think
Cannonball Run.
England could have won this.
Stephen said, is Geraint there or
Geraint's
there? Let's not talk about the Cannonball Run. Then
well,
we'll
we've gone from MBE Ella Toon to OBE Geraint Thomas, former Welsh cyclist. Delighted to say he's on the line. Geraint, good afternoon, mate.
Hey, Geraint.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're doing well. We've just been plugging talkSPORT's historic Commonwealth Games coverage. What are your memories, Geraint, of gold medals in the Commonwealth Games?
Well, obviously, yeah. When I think back to Glasgow 2014, it was the last event, and I was racing for Wales. Terrible weather. Had a last-minute puncher. Caused a bit of drama, but ended up winning, and it was just phenomenal. Like, I don't get to race for Wales very often at all, being cycling. So I'll always remember that day. That's for sure.
Of course you will. Now, a last-minute puncture. I'm gonna bring us on to what you want to talk about, which is we've heard of Couch to 5K. We were just talking to Ella Toon about.
Who's a
Couch to 5K? Who's one of the voices for it? But you're doing Couch to Saddle. Tell us about it, Geraint.
Yeah, basically it's Lloyd's Bank starting off this campaign of Sofa to Saddle, just getting people more active, basically getting them on bikes and trying to build their confidence. They've got an app with British Cycling just to get people into it, and for me, it's just a great campaign to be involved with, because I think it does so much for just health and well-being, really.
Yeah.
Like, nothing to do with professional sport or anything. I think it's just I retired last year from professional sport, and I didn't ride my bike or run or anything for a while, and it just didn't feel great, to be honest. And once I started doing a bit of something, I just felt so much better within myself. And I just think any sort of exercise is always good.
Yeah, and just because you're involved doesn't mean that people need to get their Lycra out and get the chamois cream on and do 100 miles a day. Just get on your bike and have a ride somewhere, I suppose, is your message.
Yeah, exactly. Just enjoying the bike, getting fit and active. And it's just like, in your local parks or, trails or, because obviously road safety is, in the forefront of most people's minds when they're starting, but there's plenty of safer environments to start, build that confidence. Because once you ride on a bike and you're confident, you can, everyone's a bit nervous to start with, aren't they?
Yeah,
but I think,
of course.
Finding those avenues into it, and I think people can just get so much enjoyment from it.
Who taught you to ride a bike, Geraint, and what was your first bike?
It was my dad's, just down the back lane of my house, and it was a Wolf bike. It was just it just played all these different noises, basically.
Yeah, of course.
But,
I remember those. Yeah, had like buttons on it, and it would play sirens and all sorts of stuff. And was your dad a hold the back of your saddle, or was he like get on with it sort of guy?
Well, he's how old is he now? 76. He's a bit old school. He's a bit more get on with it.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm holding the back. Yeah, I'm still holding it, and you're away.
Yeah.
So,
pretend.
Yeah.
Geraint, one of my earliest memories of in life was falling into a bush of nettles.
Oh, lovely.
When I first had the stabilisers taken off. So I'm a bit scarred by cycling, I must admit. But obviously, it's really important for people's health, fitness. One of my best mates from school, Jack, he's moved to Australia purely because their cycling roads are supposedly incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And he just cycles the whole time. For me, though, Geraint, I would love to cycle more, particularly living in London. I hate buses. I hate the underground. What are the obstacles that for people getting into cycling? From my perspective, it does seem quite an expensive thing to do. Is that sort of a misconception about cycling?
There's obviously a range. I think there obviously is the side, but there's pretty cheap second-hand bikes you can get. There's places you can loan bikes, like pay to loan a bike or borrow a bike from a friend or whatever. If you trust them that they haven't loosened the brakes or something. But no, I think just like there is creative ways to get involved in it. And then, as I say, with the road infrastructure, it's certainly on the mind of a lot of sort of the governments and local authorities and stuff. And it seems to be an area which is like always improving, which is good. But I think just like recreationally, like around parks and wherever you can, trails, and I think it's your local community sort of like cycle clubs as well. There's a few places to get into it, and I think, like you mentioned earlier, with this cycling scene is
old blokes in lycra, shaving their legs. It's not all that. I think whatever age, gender, I think it can benefit everyone.
Yeah, a Sofa to Saddle is the app, I'm assuming, and the way to get into it. And I always recommend people if you learn a bit of bicycle maintenance, if you learn how to change your tyres and do your chain and all that sort of stuff. If you go to the recycling centre, people throw out bikes all the time, so you can often pick up a bike for absolutely nothing and fix it up.
Yeah, exactly. I think for kids and stuff as well, it's just maybe not everyone would find it interesting, but just building a bike and then riding it yourself, and I think it benefits all sorts of areas.
It is brilliant. You never feel worse after a bike ride, I tell you that.
Yeah, no, I don't do it enough, but I'm more of a line biker sort of guy, but that's because I don't have my own. Look, Geraint, mate, thank you so much for joining us. Absolute pleasure.
Pleasure, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much.
MBE, former Commonwealth gold medalist Geraint Thomas, trying to get us. You're a big advocate for the cycling life.
Oh, I love it. I know I don't look like I love cycling, but I cycled to Belgium this year. I absolutely loved it with my brother. I mean, we did have a couple of beers on the way. You can stop. You can freewheel now and again. Yeah. It's not like running. You don't have to constantly do it. You can stop and then keep going, and you can cover great distances. It's brilliant. Cycling.
Do you ever cycle in London now?
I do, on a line bike, but I always wear a helmet because I've had a few friends hurt themselves on the electric bikes, especially. So
it's risky out there.
It is risky. And I'm embarrassed to say, I think John at Deb's Ironing Shop in Wakefield, who is the sponsor of the birthday spread, back in 3 weeks' time. I've got Cannonball Run and Smokey and the Bandit mixed up. They are similar films.
Oh, so you got it wrong. So you've sold.
I'm not sure I've got it wrong or not. I think John's got it wrong. But Cannonball Run and Smokey and the Bandit are similar films.
Okay, well, I'll decide whether or not I can trust you to watch this film or not. Stay with us. We've got lots coming up. We've got some Southampton chat. Of course, we're hearing that the FA have charged Tom the Wreckett. We're going to get perspective from Southampton fan Nick Ellaby in the office. And as well, a bit of bare knuckle boxing live on the Boxing YouTube channel. They're coming into the studio a little later on. You're listening to talkSPORT with Max Scott and Charlie Baker.
You're a Chelsea fan, Tim. What's your view on Enzo Fernandez?
Yeah, I mean, this season I've been a huge fan of what he's given us on the pitch. He's a great player to have. He's always popping up with one of those classic goals from just outside the area, sort of just runs in, smashes it in. Lovely to see, can't complain. But in the World Cup, the way the guy's conducted himself on the pitch is just absolutely disgusting. I'm just thoroughly embarrassed that he plays for my club. The way he's just been flying into tackles, that one in the final when he got sent off, him dancing around on the pitch with the Falklands banner, it's just disgraceful. I want him gone. Let's just patch in.
Tim, can I say I totally take your point on those parts there, especially the Argentina parts. But with everything that's gone on with Chelsea, especially this season, where at times you've been a bit of a laughing stock under the Liam Rosenior moment, seem to come to my mind and seem a little bit soft.
Yeah,
seem a little bit soft. Is it wise to get rid of the one player with a bit of bite, even if he is to all the other things you just said?
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying there.
Yeah.
And it's a really good point. And I've got to say, it's one that's quite difficult to answer. I guess it would all depend on who you replace him with.
We're getting lots of texts about double yoked eggs. We're also getting lots of texts about when you refused to leave somewhere. Keep them coming in. Going to read some of those out in a moment. 8:10:89. First up, Ben Fletcher's got your sports headlines.
Talk Sport.
Good afternoon. Phil Foden has committed to Manchester City until the summer of 2030, a new 4-year contract for the man who was overlooked by Thomas Tuchel this summer. The 6-time Premier League winner says his new deal means everything to him. Next, Tonda Eckert's been charged by the FA for his role in Spygate. The Saints head coach was found guilty of 3 breaches relating to rules on spying on opponents. Some have expressed their surprise he's still in a job. What would posh owner Darren McAntony have done?
Sacking, should have happened probably for me. When
you defied him?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for what would have happened, the players, the disappointment, the fallout, I probably would have. Yeah, it would have been one of those where you'd be like, unforgivable. The person I felt most sorry for was the analyst. That was my son. Working in a low-paid job. Yeah, his career, his name is tarnished forever.
talkSPORT understands Eckert will not contest the charges. New kid on the block at the Bridge. Morgan Rogers can be Xabi Alonso's game changer. That according to talkSPORT's Gabby Agbonlahor. The Athletics Chelsea writer Liam Toomey has told us it's a marked change to their recruitment strategy.
We knew they'd liked Morgan Rogers for a long, long time. That he was top of their list for a versatile attacker. What we didn't know is that they were prepared to go £117 million deep for him, and now he's a Chelsea player.
Roger says he's excited to have joined the biggest club in London. And to Middlesbrough, where Will Lancashire has completed a move from Tottenham that could end up being worth £20 million. The 21-year-old striker impressed during a loan spell at Oxford last season, scoring 12 in all competitions. There's plenty more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister says he'll review the government policy allowing prisoners to be released early, and a £2 bus fare cap for most journeys in England will help ease the purse strings. More with Emma at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, where we've got a wider range of premium tyres than Britain has rainy days. Visit your local centre or book at quickfit.com today.
Dry with sunny spells for most of us this afternoon, cloudy with the chance of drizzle in northern areas.
Yeah, good afternoon. You're listening to Scott and Baker on talkSPORT. You're watching as well on Smart TV, YouTube, TikTok, Charlie. It's streamed on TikTok. Thousands of viewers on TikTok.
Does that mean we have to dance?
No, I hope not. But we can talk about egg.
You're big on the old socials, Max. Do you do the old TikTok dances?
No, I've never done a TikTok dance. But the egg stuff is big on TikTok. Ella Toon's gone crazy for these.
People have gone wild for the eggs.
Yeah, they're loving it in the text. A little bit later on, we're going to be doing some bare knuckle boxing. Well, we're not going to be doing bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah.
But we're going to be talking about bare knuckle boxing, which is happening over on the talkSPORT YouTube boxing YouTube channel this weekend. Your mate Nick Helms joining us as well. We're going to try and find a section of his new album which you can play out on daytime radio or just radio at all. And of course, talk a little bit of Southampton in a moment. Of course, the news that the FA have charged Tonda Eckert with that. But I want to read some texts out because we're getting some great responses to when you refuse to leave. This definitely happened to me. Okay. And I'm as ashamed as Gareth as well. He says, I wouldn't leave the pitch when being substituted. I was only 12 at the time, but I shamefully point blank refused to leave the pitch for that player that never got a game. Love that from Gareth.
I like that. I'm not coming off. Let's start that as a text topic for now. When you wouldn't, I'm not coming off. Absolutely not. No way. Or, you were about to be subbed on and the player wouldn't come off.
Imagine. Well, imagine what that'd do for your confidence at 12 years old. I'm not coming off for him. Kids can be cruel.
I think there should be a big clock at youth football. And this is when you're on and this is when you're off.
This is how long you participation medal.
Yeah, no, but everyone should get half an hour.
Everyone should get a game, but also you want to win, mate.
Well, I'm here for.
This is the problem with the DNA of English grassroots
football. I'm here
football.
for fun FC.
No, I'm win at all costs.
I enjoyed the 3rd and 4th place playoff. That was a fun game, Max.
But wasn't it fun? But it was fun because there was nothing
jeopardy.
to it.
There's no jeopardy.
And I think that's
France didn't try.
Like, do you think England could do that in a major tournament?
Yes.
Score 6 goals.
Yeah,
against a team like
easy.
France.
We would have won the World Cup. Oh, God, don't get me on it. Cannibal Run is great. Amazing cast. Jackie Chan. Ever seen a Jackie Chan film?
A Jackie Chan film?
Yeah,
of course you have. Rush Hour.
Sammy Davis Jr. Would you know that?
No.
No, you wouldn't know that. It's great. All-round entertainer. Singer, dancer. Started at the age of about 4 or 5 years old. Tap dance.
A bit like you.
Singer. Yeah, exactly. Very, very good.
When was the last time you tap danced?
Oh, last Friday night. In my new show, Go Get It. Tickets available now. Tour around the country. Cannibal Run is great. Jackie Chan. And then it says, I like the way he's written this. Amazing cast. Jackie Chan, Sammy Davis Jr., John from Manchester. I think that's who it's from. That's
Clips of the week.
Cannibal Run only bettered by Cannibal Run 2.
Okay, well,
there's a second one.
I must
Captain
say,
Chaos.
All this stuff about Cannibal Run or what film it isn't, I have no idea.
How old are you, Max?
33.
Right. Can you pitch films to Max that he may not have seen that he should see?
Yeah, sort of films that what's the? Oh no, see that's the thing. I'm so bad with films. I'm not bothered about films. But if there's a film you think I should see, please let me know.
Yeah, in the Cannibal Run envelope, preferably. Yeah, that'd be very, very
lovely one here from Taffy the Mackham. He says, "Great show." Lads, I refused to leave the last ever game at Roker Park.
Oh.
The emotion was too much in the end. A steward bribed me with a seat to take away.
Oh, he let him.
Take a seat from Roker Park.
I thought he bribed him with a takeaway. That would get him out normally. Most matches.
Have you got any Torquay memorabilia?
Oh,
anything historic from Torquay?
I've been selling some Torquay.
Oh, you're profiteering.
Yeah. No,
from your club.
No. I just feel like I've got enough nylon in my house, Max. Got a lot of football shirts.
And do they get?
I feel like if we light a match, the whole place will go up.
Torquay shirts going for much money these days?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course they are.
What's the most you've ever paid for a Torquay shirt?
Sounding a bit patronising here, Mark.
Mark?
Max. Sounding a bit patronising about the lower leagues.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean that, but there is an element of how many sort of Torquay fans are there to buy all your shirts. Have you sold? What's
still patronising?
Yeah, well, I'm just going to carry on with it. What's the most you've bought a Torquay shirt for?
£110.
That's a lot of money.
£110.
I mean, you do have some nice ones.
It's a match worn. You know, if it's match worn and it's from a big match, you know, and it means something to you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Then it's worth it. Do you not think?
Yeah, of course it is.
What's the most you spent on some Forest memorabilia?
The amount of money I spend on every season on Forest merch. I'm these days I'm less for a shirt. I'm more for shorts with zips.
Oh, okay.
They're really important to me because when I'm not at work, I think I exclusively wear Forest shorts.
Forest shorts with zips.
Yes, because I think it's really important that things don't fall like pockets, essentially.
Yeah, but why have Forest shorts got zips?
Well, like training shorts, not the match shorts.
Not where the players keep their money.
No, absolutely not.
No.
But no, I love Forest shorts, and these days I spend inordinate amounts of money on my nephew Wilf.
Oh yeah.
Whose dad's a United fan.
Yeah.
But as the firstborn, he's a Forest fan. His mum's a Forest fan.
So all the
every season, I've pledged for the first 18 years of his life. It's like some sort of contract that I will buy him Wilf 1, 2, all through to 18.
Very good.
For Forest kids,
whether he likes it or not. Very good.
Nick Ellaby's in the studio with us. Nick, what's the most you've ever spent on a Southampton shirt?
Yeah.
Or
No, I think just the standard. What is it, like 60 quid for a shirt? I haven't bought one for a few seasons now.
How much are binoculars these days?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, this season, because Tom Dereckett wants to move on. He wants to forget about it. But no one's going to let him
move on from that.
No one's going to let him forget about it, are they?
Well, look, we've got you in, Nick, because the news we're hearing this afternoon is that, look, the FA have charged Tom Dereckett, and there is a risk that he faces a possible ban after those misconduct charges for the Spygate stuff. What do you make of the whole situation now the dust has settled?
Yeah.
No, in fact, initially, were you on the bandwagon? Were you one of the Southampton fans wearing ghillie suits at St Mary's in the playoffs, or did you feel a little bit like this is pretty embarrassing?
Well, you guys will know what I'm talking about here. I actually just quite like being talked about as a club because often, you know, you can go weeks and weeks without hearing anyone really talk about you as a real football club. You might get a mention because you're playing against someone big. So I've actually quite enjoyed it, to be honest. And I think that there was a lot of very angry Southampton fans, and there's still, I would say, a not insignificant number who would like to see the back of Tom Dereckett because probably the most embarrassing episode in the club's history, apart from Ali Dyer maybe. But, you know, really, it's a shocking turn of events.
Can you believe he's still there?
Yeah, because, Max, you know what I'm talking about. He might be a wrong-un, but he's our wrong-un, isn't he? and we were 21 league games unbeaten. And football is all about results. And I actually think most of the Southampton fans are now feeling like it's us against the rest of the league, it's us against the authorities. I think it's actually going to galvanise the team. And you've seen, obviously, the owners came out and backed him. Dragan Solak said, I'm not sacking him if it's up to me. I'm keeping him in charge. You know, in terms of form, we haven't been in this good a form since we were playing under Ronald Koeman and Pochettino.
Yeah.
And he's backed him in the transfer market. We've picked up Lewis Dobbin from Aston Villa, young striker. The biggest news of the summer was getting hold of Daniel Peretz, the guy we had, the goalkeeper, on loan from Bayern Munich. He was his best keeper we've had since Fraser Forster. And actually, not only is he's such a good keeper, but he tells the defence where to be. We haven't had a vocal keeper probably since Fraser Forster. Some good extensions as well. Kyle Larin that we had on loan is now, picked him up permanently. James Breeze extended. So in terms, I think the players obviously reacted pretty badly. I mean, Tonder Eckert said himself, he had a difficult meeting with the players sort of the day after all the decisions and everything else. But it seems
because they're just absolutely fuming.
Well, because we got kicked out of the playoffs and we were literally on fire. We couldn't lose a game for about 6 months. But yeah,
Are you worried about that next year? Are you worried about sort of whether it's from within the players' camp? I know you've signed, there's new signings, that's exciting, fresh blood. Yeah. But whether it's from the players, whether it's from the fans, that there is like a real sense of frustration towards him, and that he might not be able to pick up that positive feeling that you had before all this came out.
I think like always, if you lose a few games, people might get slightly.
Well, that's the thing. Every team has a bad play. If you lose 3 in a row towards the beginning of the season, how does that play out?
And then the questions start, the questions will start coming out. What do the players really think? Are they actually kind of annoyed?
Yeah.
But the vibes I'm getting from the players, from pre-season training, from everything else, from the journalists that speak to the team week in, week out, is that actually there is a pretty good feeling in the camp.
We're talking to Dance a bit later on about the Championship. Yeah. Tough division this season, Max, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and eight teams. So surely, despite all of this, you're thinking playoffs minimum. I mean,
we think win it. Let's win it. I honestly think we got the squad. We might lose Shea Charles, but actually, pretty much everyone's still there. As long as we start well, we got 3 Watford, Stoke, Millwall first 3 games. Three quite big ones.
But there is a world. I don't necessarily think it's going to happen. There is a world where he does get banned, and then you're almost back to square one.
Well, if he does, I think it's a disgrace, because the punishment was huge anyway. I know they changed the rules after Bielsa, right? But the FA gave Bielsa a warning. He essentially admitted to spying on every team in the Championship. And let's get it right. Tonder Eckert and Southampton admitted 3 breaches, 3 teams. We know it was almost certainly going on. It wasn't just those 3, was it? And we know they were paying for hotels and flights for William Salt, the intern, who they've now given a permanent role to, which is really important as well. They've backed him because they put him in that's probably the worst thing, is they put this young guy in a really difficult position. And they were also deleting photos of him from the website. So there was a cover-up operation as well. So we know there was more going on than what we know about, not just the Oxford, Ipswich, Middlesbrough games that we've been busted for, and that we didn't win. We didn't win any of those anyway, right? So, we start with a 4-point deduction. So, and we're obviously going to get a fine. That is more. The fans have been punished. The club's been punished. If they ban our manager as well, I think that's shocking. Bielsa, admitted spying on all the other teams, took a fine, and the FA gave him a warning, nothing else.
What is Middlesbrough, Southampton going to be like?
So there's a guy at Virgin.
What is that going to be?
There's a guy called Frank who works for Chris Evans' show on Virgin, and he's a Middlesbrough fan. So we were obviously, laughing about it at the back end of last season, and me and him are going to go to both the games. They're going to be so good.
I do like it when these sort of new rivalries sort of emerge. Whether it's
that's it forever now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like Forest Palace, it's a great new rivalry.
Exactly.
The Conference League, Europa League derby. Looking forward to speaking to Marcel about that a little bit later on. But Nick, thanks for your time, mate. I wouldn't be surprised if you're absolutely bang on that all of this actually serves to create this sort of us versus them 100%. Mentality. And Saints just go on and win the league, carry on the form that they were in last season.
Bring it on. Kelly's Heroes as well, great film. If you're into knockabout adventure.
Well, the text, I've never seen this many texts ever on a show. Films from Max, Convoy, Smokey and the
Convoy. Convoy is a great film.
I'm getting an education in film.
From the 80s.
Yeah, from the 80s when I was never alive, and I might not get any of the references, but who cares? I'll do it for the listeners.
You'll be amazed what we were allowed to watch, Max.
Nick, thank you so much for your time, mate.
Pleasure.
Thanks for your text. Keep them coming in at 81089. We're getting loads of messages as well on when you've refused to leave. We'll have a look through those and give you some of those after the break. You're listening to Hawksby and Jacobs, Scott and Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Only got time for one stop. First stop, Toolstation.
I'd separate what happened in the World Cup from my club. So if he wants to stay, I'd keep him. He's a really good player. He plays well for us. Really don't like what he did in the World Cup. If he wants to stay, keep him. If he wants to go, like any player that wants to go, let him go. But I would, 100%. We need experienced players with a new manager. We need continuity. So do I like what he did? No. Do I think he's going to get loads of stick wherever he goes? Maybe some at Stamford Bridge? Yes. But if he wants to stay, get your head down and play for us. That's what I think.
And how do you feel about, obviously, Alonso coming in as manager? A couple of signings so far. You get John Stones in the building. You feel good about things for this season?
I feel that after 4 years or 4.5 years of trial and error by American owners, that at last they're appointing a manager, not a coach. The only thing I would say is that we need to bring in some experience. If we bring in someone like John Stones with the experience he's got on a free, and also we don't need I hate to say it, but fairly average sporting directors. We need a couple of really good quality sporting directors. But Morgan Rogers, really exciting to get Alonso. And at last we've got a manager, not a coach. So I'm looking forward to this season.
Where does Morgan Rogers play in the 11?
I think he's been told he's going to play off the left.
Is he?
I believe so.
Okay.
Interesting to see how that works with Cole Palmer. But if you listen to what Morgan Rogers said yesterday, Cole Palmer was constantly on the phone.
They're close.
Leading with
So
him
are they going to play with 2 10s maybe?
Anthony Joshua is on the road to destiny. But first, there is danger. Prenga, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. And AJ knows, one moment, one mistake, one punch will change history. AJ is back. But there is danger before destiny.
Big fight build-up on talkSPORT with DAZN. Anthony Joshua's comeback starts this Saturday as he faces Christian Prenga. Watch only on DAZN Saturday Fight Night.
Good afternoon, this is Scott and Baker on talkSPORT with you till 4 p.m. We're going to chat a little bit boxing now. I'm delighted to say we've got Aaron Chalmers and Jack Fincham in the studio.
Not just boxing, bare knuckle boxing.
They're having a bare knuckle scrap live on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. And producer Georgia came in and asked Charlie to move next to me. And I'm thinking, hold on, is this the right idea? You're building up to a big fight. You've already fought before, but your best buds, you're getting on.
Well, we've never had an issue. Listen, it's a job, isn't it? At the end of the day.
Yeah. Listen, fights get put to it, and you don't have to hate someone who you're fighting.
No.
And we fought before. The thing is, me and Jack have been in similar situations. We've battled some stuff with alcohol and stuff.
Yeah.
So he reached out to me when he was feeling a bit down in the past.
I remember,
So I have nothing against him. Obviously, we're going to go in there, as always, put on a show.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be hatred. As much as people like it to be, it's not who I am, and I don't think
I'll be honest, it's not in my nature. All that stuff, all that like putting on a show, pretending you hate the person, screaming and shouting, abuse, and because at the end of the fight, you're going to give them a cuddle anyway. It doesn't really make much of a difference.
I think that's refreshing to see though, because often with your celebrities, you've had careers in reality TV, but lots of people know who you are, and so with the rise of the likes of Misfits and the bare knuckle boxing scene. One of the things that I don't like is the fact that so much of it's clearly just made up, and people sort of throw in chairs and stuff for the sake of it. So I like it.
We've got our own stories. We don't need to make up a new one. You know what I mean?
I just refuse to lower myself to be like a circus act for the cameras. Like, it's not who I am, and if I was to be like that, my mum, and I've got 3 young sons, and I just think I don't want them looking to growing up thinking, oh, Dad's through a chair. That it's just not who I am. Like I like to get in the ring and have a good fight. No, like I'll put everything on the line once I get through them ropes. But outside the ring, I just refuse to lower myself.
Jack, we've spoken to you about your bare knuckle boxing before. Must have been against Aaron.
Aaron last time. Aaron,
you have a boxing background.
Yes.
How did you get into? We'll start with you, Jack. How did you get into bare knuckle?
Well, so I mean, I boxed for Elton Boxing Club in South East London as a kid. So I had like 30 fights for them. Then I turned pro, but I had a couple of fights out in Dubai in gloves, which was easier and better.
Yeah.
And then it just got put to me because me and Aaron were supposed to fight years ago. Yeah, Dubai years ago, and I pulled out a few times due to the issues that I was actually going through at the time.
Of course.
And then the fight.
Do you mind talking about those?
No, of course. Look, I'll be honest. Look, I'm 3 months out of rehab, right? And look, I could have took a fight that I could have bowled someone over and gone, just to look good. But I thought I'll take this on because you've got to put yourself in uncomfortable places to grow. And I'm trying to grow as a person now, and I'm trying to grow as a person and be a better person. So, if you put yourself in uncomfortable places, and I'll be honest, getting hit by him is very uncomfortable.
You fought before, right?
It's very uncomfortable getting hit by Aaron Chalmers, I'm telling you.
I think you said it's like being hit by a razor.
It's the knuckles.
Look at that.
Yeah, the knuckles are sharp.
He's got some really sharp knuckles. It's bizarre. I don't know if he's had them sort of made.
Well, you never know these days. We've seen Vinny Jr.'s had his chin.
Yeah, when I was in Turkey, I got the knuckles.
They do it. They offer that now, do they?
Yeah. As you can see, you both in there.
Yeah.
And it was weird because we was this was in Birmingham. We was at watching another bare knuckle show, right? It was my first one I'd ever been to, and I'm sat next to him, right? And our fight just been announced, and I remember looking over at him going, really? I don't know if I can do this. And then he went like that. And I've just seen this like claw, like a velociraptor, and I thought, I'm in a bit of trouble here.
But why move from boxing to bare knuckle? Because it's so much more brutal.
If you don't mind, for me...
Be honest.
For
the
me,
money?
It's
okay.
good. It's
good. Sure, that's allowed. That's fine. It's prize fighters.
It's good money. It's good money. And look, the art of boxing, I said this in the press conference last time, is to hit and not get hit. And there's no giveaway shots in bare knuckle, is there, Aaron? Like, in sparring, whatever, you can take a few, you can block whatever. There's none of that, because even if you put your guard up, it's going straight through the guard regardless. So really, you've got to every shot's got to count. And that is the art of boxing, isn't it?
Yeah.
At its purest form. And that's what I liked about it until I got in there.
So Jack, you've got a sort of history with boxing. MMA for you, isn't it, Aaron?
Yeah, but I was a late starter. I didn't start MMA. I had my first fight a week before my 30th birthday. So I jumped in a camp. Yeah, and didn't start till I was 30.
Yeah.
Done a couple of years of that. Then I started boxing. I started boxing at 34. So I'm 39 now. So I'm not a spring chicken.
Yeah.
But with Jack, listen, I've lost a couple of fights, and if someone offered me the rematch, I'd snap the hand off. I'd snap the hand off. So I
don't think that's allowed in.
Yeah.
I think the fight would stop.
Yeah, no, listen, bare knuckles, it's kill or be killed, isn't it? No, but obviously I got offered the fight again, and I just said, yeah, listen, let's go. I think everyone deserves a rematch. Because like I say, I've lost a few. I would like to get my wins back. But for the bare knuckle, for me, this is where I feel at home. I think I've got 3. I would like to get to 20. I've had 17. This will be my 17th. I would like to get to 20.
Yeah.
And like I say, I'm 40 next year, so I'd like to leave it hopefully on a high.
They do say the safety aspect, that it's actually a bit safer because obviously you can only punch so hard without breaking your hands and all that sort of stuff.
You take a lot less damage.
Yeah.
A lot less damage.
Just that. You've got to think, with a glove, right, there's a bigger surface area. So you're getting hit with a bigger surface area. Because I've been buzzed in sparring, like more so than what I have been on the street or you know. I mean, it's strange, and I think there is science behind it. Don't ask me because I'm not going to give you the exact science. But like, there's science behind it where they say because obviously it's a bigger surface area with a glove and things like that. That's what can cause more damage.
The thing is with bare knuckle as well, though, I think
it's more just outer damage.
Do you know what it is? Like, you can take 100, 200 jabs in a boxing match. Bare knuckle, even throwing a jab, you've got to be very careful because you have to be. It's not. I would say half the punches get thrown, but you have to make them count. And when 1 or 2 or 3 land, the fight's over.
Finished.
How do you train then? Because presumably you're not always training without gloves.
Oh, never. I train as I would for a boxing fight.
Yeah.
You got to save the hands.
And it's not only that, you can't. Yeah, you got to have obviously a basic boxing ability to be even in there, but you can't really train any differently. In my opinion, obviously it's different when you get inside and stuff, but like it's the same. It's the same rules apply without gloves.
You can't. You couldn't like train
specifically for that.
Yeah, because your hands and face would be ruined. You'd be turning up to the fight full of stitches.
How many rounds is it, and how long are the rounds?
So there's 5 2s.
5 2s.
5 2-minute.
So whereas obviously I'm guessing. Well, it feels like an hour.
That's all right. We'll lose that.
No worries.
That's all right. What were you like at school?
What was I like at school?
Both of you. Both of you. What were you like at school, Jack?
I left school when I was 14. I was a little rat in school. Yeah. Wasn't very well behaved in school.
Yeah. About you?
I was the opposite.
The opposite, yeah.
I never had a fight.
Never had a fight at school?
I used to just want to play football. I was obsessed with football and motocross, and that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah. The tune?
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a hard. I've got 3 boys, and I said, listen, you're going to have a hard life supporting Newcastle because we're the only team that can become the richest club in the world and not spend on it. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, look, PSR, SCR, let's not get into that.
Yeah.
Because even as a Forest fan, I'm absolutely sick of it. Even though we've sold Anderson for all that money, I've got a lot of sympathy for you lot. But when you say you never had a fight at school, why then later in life, you've had a really successful career in reality TV, etc., etc. What's the draw to getting in and having a bare knuckle fight?
Shall I tell you? No, shall I tell you what?
Getting you to put out.
I was sitting on a beach. I was doing like an appearance in Bulgaria with my manager, and he said, "Aaron, after Geordie's show, what are you going to do?" And I always had this thing in my head because I'd never had a fight, and I was like, I don't know if I've got the balls to have a fight. If someone come up to me and said, "Let's have a fight now," I was like, I don't know if I've got the balls to just have a fight.
So it's like challenging yourself.
So I wanted to see if I had the balls to go in and ring and have a fight with someone.
Yeah.
So that's where the first fight come from. I won that, and I was like, hold on a minute, it was a feeling I'd never felt. Then it just carried on from there. So that was the reason for the first fight, was to see if I had basically the balls to have a fight.
There we are.
Just finally from me, I mean, you mentioned at the top, Aaron, and Jack, I've seen a lot of your stuff being really open about your personal struggles and rehab. Do you find that the training and the discipline of the fight game is really important to that journey?
It's really, really important. Aaron sort of just touched on it just then. Like, the boxing people and combat sport people, they're the best people to be around because everyone in that gym just wants you to be the best version of yourself. It's better for them. And it's just good for your head. It's good for your head. It's something you're always working towards something. You're striving to be better. And also gives you a bit of self-confidence. For me, it's about self-confidence as well.
Yeah.
It's a massive part of it.
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
Well, Saturday night then, live on the talkSPORT boxing channel.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute belter. And also, hats off to you for just coming in here, having a laugh, enjoying each other's company, not playing up to it.
It might not be this many smiles on Saturday, but listen, we're coming to get a job done. So.
Good luck, lads.
Brilliant.
Good luck. Thanks for coming in.
Cheers, boys. Great stuff. Handshake in the studio as well.
I'm kicked off now. I'm not getting involved.
A reminder as...
Although I am quite hard.
Yeah. Look, a reminder as well, tonight, not just this weekend on the Boxing YouTube channel, it's also AJ Prenger live with DAZN. You can join DAZN Ultimate for 185 plus fight nights and 12 plus pay-per-views every year, including Joshua versus Prenger, all included at no extra cost. Buy now at DAZN.com.
Big fight build-up on talkSPORT with DAZN. This Saturday, it's danger before destiny for Anthony Joshua. Joshua versus Prenger, live exclusively on DAZN.
What does the future hold for Rashford? My understanding is that he ideally would still like to leave United, still not particularly happy with the hierarchy there over the circumstances of his departure this time last year. And while there is a slim chance that Michael Carrick reintegrates him into his first team squad, I think United ideally would like to sell as well. In my notebook on the talkSPORT website today, I talk about Fenerbahce in Turkey being interested, but Rashford doesn't seem particularly keen on that move. It all feels a little bit like limbo, Kev.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think it was the same last year, and he come up trumps with the Barcelona move. Where did that come from last season? And you think, go there, and then you'd have the season, and was he up and down? You sort of got mixed reviews, didn't you, from there, and whether they were going to then, take him on this year and sign him. But I think probably the biggest block and the stumbling block for himself is the actual money they're going to have to give him. And I think that's the problem. Do Man United want to go, okay, we'll let him leave, but, and take a hit on his wages and pay half of his wages so they can get him out. I think that's what they probably have to do in the last couple of seasons when he went to Villa and now Barcelona. So, yeah, it's all a bit of a mess, isn't it? Considering, being a Manchester boy, you don't really like to see it, but it's all really a bit of a mess. And I don't really see an outcome and where it's going to get an outcome. I think someone's going to have to give, and I don't know which one's going to go first.
Well, they've already given his squad number away because Mateus Cunha took his number.
Boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters, but it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter.
talkSPORT News.
Thank you, Max. Good afternoon. The Prime Minister says he'll review the government's prisoner early release policy. It's after the mum of PC Andrew Harper said it felt like an insult that two of her son's killers could be eligible. The scheme designed to ease overcrowding in England's jails. But Chris Phillips, former head of the National Council.
We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the taxman at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like 5 grand, 10 grand for a 6-rounder or something because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
Anthony Joshua is on the road to destiny. But first, there is danger. Prenga, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. And AJ knows, one moment, one mistake, one punch will change history. AJ is back. But there is danger before destiny.
Just like a phoenix from the flames.
And that's about all we can play, I think, Max.
Yeah. We listened to the whole album, and this was all we could get. Actually, you're lucky that there were lyrics there. We were thinking we might just have to go with the instrumental.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Nick Helm, thanks for joining us.
Nick Helm's
pleasure.
Down and Dirty weekend.
Down and Dirty.
He's playing the Edinburgh Festival. 3 shows.
13th, 14th, 15th.
You know your dates.
Of
Very
August.
good.
3 nights only.
3 nights only. And then on the 16th, on the Sunday, I'm doing a poetry show for Shedinburgh, which is up there as well. And then I'm coming back.
Have you been to the Edinburgh Festival?
I went, I think, for about 5 consecutive years from about 17 onwards. It was like something we'd do as a family. We used to go there.
When you were 17?
Yeah.
My first Edinburgh was when I was 16. In 1996, my school took us up and we did Romeo and Juliet.
Amazing.
And we did 3 shows in a row. And then I was like, if I could do Edinburgh for the rest of my life, I'd be happy.
It is incredible. It is absolutely unbelievable. But one of the big things, of course, to talk about Edinburgh is just how expensive it is. But I just think it's worth it.
Well,
it's gone mad.
It used to be worth it. Yeah. It is insane. It's ridiculous. I've got accommodation for one of the band members for 3-4 nights, and it's 750 quid.
Crikey Moses.
But
no, I take it back.
So for a comedian
that's student accommodation.
I imagine, yeah. For a comedian or a performer, it's sort of like a big trade fair, Max. So you go up there, you show your wares, you do a show, and hope that TV people and radio people and everybody turns up and goes, yes, you're good, we'll take that away and build on. But you, Nick, you've had a different relationship with it, I'd say. You've done 25 shows in 25 years.
Yeah.
As a comedian, as a performer.
I used to write plays.
You used to write plays as well. So you've really used it as a creative muse in many ways.
Well, like we had an amazing teacher when we were at school called Louise Wallace. And, it wasn't a posh school. And she was just like this, she was really young and she was this incredible teacher. And then it was her dream to take a show up to Edinburgh. And so when we would all all different age groups, but when I was 16, 1997, 45 now. Yeah. We're all dying.
I'm 50 next, so.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm better
write me off
then. You look incredible for it. And she took us up, and 3 years in a row. And then I went to uni, and then they were my old school. They were taking up I think Midsummer Night's Dream, but I was at uni, and they had a 2-for-1 slot, and they said you can have a midnight slot if you can fill it. And so I wrote a play with my friend Ed, and that started it.
Yeah.
And I think I've only missed.
That's great as a kid, isn't it? Because there's that phrase: if you see it, you can do it. And so to be shown those things as a kid, wherever you're from, whatever you're doing, and then Nick Max was one of those guys who, when I was sort of first going up as a stand-up, because I went up as a kid as well. I used to do shows as a kid when I was 11, 12 years old. But when I went up at first as a stand-up, a lot of the time it would be, you've got to go and see Nick Helm's show, because you'd be doing something sort of completely different to whatever. Some people would stand there, crying at the 40th minute. And
would run out of my show screaming.
Yeah. But you'd be there, full on passion, shouting at people.
Tiny little box room.
Shouting, do you like jokes at people?
Yeah.
And playing music and doing all sorts. It's sort of like a modern entertainer, really.
An all-rounder.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I don't have your... I think of you, Charlie, every time I'm on stage doing songs, because I think about the box step.
Oh, the box step, yeah. I've got a routine about.
I'm not very good at the box step, so I was hoping I could get some pointers later from you.
Nick, we had, just before you came on, we had 2 sort of reality TV stars turned bare-knuckle boxers.
Yeah, I heard about this.
I was absolutely amazed how they got on, and I thought that was really lovely. They weren't trying to create sort of this sort of contrived beef or anything. But how relaxed they are, and because they're not just boxing, they're bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm not to drag around, isn't it? Less kit.
I've never been a fighter, but nor have I ever been close to a comedian. Yeah. So for me, the thought
you've never been close to a comedian. That must hurt, Charlie.
What a shame.
We really don't.
We've done 2 hours of a show.
Do you ever get scared, or is it so sort of part of your practice that you're just not really bothered by it?
It depends what it is, but yeah, I mean, I care about it, and so I do get nervous, yeah. But especially if you haven't gigged in a couple of weeks, you get
some gigs you feel like I'd rather be punched in the face.
Yeah,
do this gig, because that's a physical thing. But your style, Nick, as well. I always your style is to go out and be fully present, fully there, fully emotionally there. Which, if they don't like it, it's really exposing, because you're going, but this is me, which means you don't like me.
Well, I've thought about it recently, and it's like I really don't enjoy doing mixed bill nights, but I can. And my favourite thing is doing work in progress. So I'm never nervous with work in progress, and they're always my best gigs.
And why is that? Because they know what they're getting.
Yeah,
that it might not work.
It's not perfect.
It might not work, and then because of that, it is. It's like that England match where they beat France for whatever.
There you go.
I can talk about sport.
He's done some sport there, man.
Unbelievable. And when the pressure's off, you kind of smash. But like, I was always like saying that when you go and see a mixed bill night, it's like, come and see comedy.
Yeah.
I like comedy, and but you wouldn't do that with music.
It's like saying go and see some sport. Should we go and see some sport tonight?
Yeah.
Which sport? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know what's on, you know.
Well, you got to mention sport, but I refer like music. Like, shall we go and see music?
Yeah,
and you go, well, oh, did you enjoy the music? And it's just like, no, it was jazz. And it's like, I'm jazz.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I am.
Nick, tell us about the album. It says here a huge project, 25 years in the making. So what's the process been, and where have you landed on it?
It's a triple album. My last album came out in 2016. And I've had mental health problems, Charlie, but I've got it all sorted.
Done very well.
I've managed to keep working my way through it, but I've just kind of like, I'm on all the right meds now, and I'm like completely productive, and I'm in control of my emotions and what I'm doing, and I've been trying to get this album done for years. And the first album, it's a triple album. First album, as you know, it's quite an introspective album. And then the second album, it's about my mental health journey. It kind of is, but they're sad songs and funny songs, and it's like a real mix of everything that I do. Second album is like a rock and roll album, which is kind of like a metaphorical descent into hell and back. And then the third album is a retrospective, and it's some songs that I wrote when I was 20 and 25, and then some songs that I've written this year, and then some songs from like my early shows, like Keep Hold of the Golden Dare to Dream, and it's like a complete retrospective of that.
When you hear those songs, and when you look at those songs, do you like that person? Do you feel sorry for that person?
I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me.
Do you cheer that person on, that 20, 25-year-old person?
When I look at what I've done, I'm incredibly proud of the fact that I managed to keep working through like the worst times.
Yeah.
Like they were the worst, and I'm feeling like it's not just like, oh, I feel good. This is the first time I've ever been happy.
That's great.
And I've had mental health problems since I was like 7 or 8, and it's been my whole life, and now I feel happy and I'm productive, and I look back on my life, and you look at all of the mistakes you made, all of the opportunities that you wasted, all of the relationships that you destroyed, and having like a late in life diagnosis with bipolar and ADHD, it's not an excuse, but you can look back and you can make sense of that person.
6 boxes.
I'm a completely different person now. I'm completely different, and I sometimes I look in the mirror, give myself a wink, and I love myself. Do you know what I mean?
We have a mutual, not a name drop here, a mutual friend in Harry Hill, and one of Harry's main rules for Comedy Max is no vanity. He always says to me, no vanity. You have to just be funny. You can't care what you look like or what all those things. No vanity. But you're looking good, Nick. So I think it's going to be a problem.
Yeah. What for the other performers?
For the other performance, I think Nick's going to go on. He's going to start. I think some boy bands are going to try and sign you.
This is the best I've ever looked. you know.
I'm going to rephrase that. This is the best I've ever looked.
Yeah. Well, poor Joel Dommett. It's all a downward slalom for him. But this is the best. Yeah.
There we are. It. Right. So for 3 nights only, Nick Helm is doing his third studio album, Down and Dirty. It's out on the 14th of August, but you can see it live in Edinburgh, Thursday the 13th to Saturday the 15th. I reckon there'll be extra shows added as well, man.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to do some more in London and all around. But first Volume 1, August, Volume 2, Autumn, Volume 3 will be out by Christmas.
Great night.
Box set. Brilliant.
Ed, thank you so much for joining us, mate.
And Nick.
Nick, yeah.
Sorry.
But Edinburgh.
Yes,
that's it.
Yeah, it's confusing, Max.
Nick's Down and Dirty weekend, Thursday 13th of August to Saturday the 15th. You're listening to Scott and Baker on talkSPORT. Up next, Ian Danter coming to preview the EFL.
remember the British press has spent most of the summer before the World Cup slagging it off. You've talked about ticket prices, so let me call you out on that. Was it expensive? Yeah. Was it difficult to go to games and whatever else? 100%, but they sold out most of the games. They're all sold out.
Yeah, but my question
finish.
to you would be,
Let me finish.
they sell out to the right people.
What do you mean the right people? Whoa. What does that mean?
Well, I thought
that's a very dangerous comment. The right people.
I thought the atmosphere was a little bit diluted because you didn't necessarily have genuine football fans. You had tourists.
Okay, are we now quantifying when you buy a sports ticket, you have to qualify as a fan?
Well, I think it's unfair if you're pricing out
I'm not
genuine fans.
Hang on, I'm not a chess fan, but I might go to a chess event one day. Does it mean I can't go because I'm not a chess fan by nature? I mean, that's a ridiculous comment you've just made. That
not really. There are
only football fans.
I know a lot of England fans.
You're a Manchester United fan.
Yeah.
Are you telling me everyone that goes there, half of Old Trafford on a match day,
of course not,
are die-hard Man United fans? Tottenham.
But I know a lot of England fans who are in the England Travel Club. They've got their caps.
I get it.
And they had to make a financial decision not to attend this World Cup. Is that right?
There's lots of things in my life I couldn't afford, or can't afford at various times.
Oh, not anymore.
No, well, I'm fortunate enough. I worked hard enough not to be in that position. But through my 20s, yeah, I looked on with envy that I couldn't do this, this, and this. Ryder Cup, I've wanted to do that for years. I'm going to go next year. It's going to cost like 50 grand. I couldn't do that 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Yeah. And I get it was too expensive. I would have liked more fans to have had access to tickets. I get that totally. But it sold out. It was a commercial success. No matter what, everyone wants to write about it and bring all the political stuff into it and politicise it. It was a
Anthony Joshua is on the road to destiny. But first, there is danger. Prenga, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. And AJ knows, one moment, one mistake, one punch will change history. AJ is back. But there is danger before destiny.
Good afternoon, you're listening to Scott and Baker on talkSPORT. We're with you till 4 p.m. and we're going to be chatting the EFL in a moment. Of course, not far away from the start of the season. We've got a Carabao Cup clash in just about 10 days. And so, the turnaround's just absolutely rapid. But on that note, Charlie and I, being a Forest fan who spent a long time in League One and the Championship, I used to spend a lot of my time listening to talkSPORT as a teenager in my early mid-20s, thinking, why on earth don't we talk about Forest? You're a Torquay fan. Why on earth aren't we talking about Torquay?
Well, wait, I do always talk about... People do often...
Torquay have a massive over-representation, actually.
Torquay Sport, with Jim Proudfoot as well, so it does become Torquay Sport. But other clubs, Matt,
yes.
Who do people think... They never talk about Crawley Town.
Stockport.
They never talk about Walsall. If that is you sitting there this afternoon, 3 o'clock, we are going to do the phone-in. You never talk about... ... on talkSPORT 03717 what is it?
03717
double three. It's because I do Virgin as well, so I've got their number in as well.
You can't be plugging that.
03717
Someone called up Chris Evans wanting to talk about Preston North End.
We need to say that number again, otherwise people won't do it. 03717 223344. You never talk about, and we'll open the lines. Whatever you want to talk about until you're boring.
That's it. Yeah, and then we'll unceremoniously sort of pull the line down if it's not fun. But we want to talk about your clubs in particular that you think maybe don't get the representation on talkSPORT that they deserve. Right, delighted to say joining us now though, to preview the EFL, is Ian Danter. Good afternoon, mate. How you doing?
Hey, Dance.
Very good, gentlemen. How are you?
Yeah,
really well, mate.
Nice to speak to you.
Before we get into the EFL, actually, can we talk about Luke Littler? Because last night you were on commentary as he hit a 9-darter in the first leg. I think it was against Nathan Aspinall, and then almost hit another one. Unbelievable scenes.
Astounding play. You're running out of things to say about just how brilliant Luke Littler is. And to do it in the first leg of the contest was pretty special. And then, as you say, 3 legs later in leg 4, he wired double 15, which he pinned for the first 9-darter to nearly get a second. And the place was just in uproar. And I have to hand it to Nathan Aspinall as well, because he'd have beaten loads of other opponents he'd been up against last night in the form he was in and the darts he was throwing. But Littler's just on another planet. It's sensational to watch him at work. And some of the routes he takes to get to the checkouts that he needs. It's unconventional, it's different, it's fascinating, it's exciting, it's quick. It's everything you want darts to be.
Dan, a few months ago when Luke Littler last won another title at such a young age, I was on with Andy Jacobs, and I remember distinctly you quite passionately sort of calling out the fans that had consistently been booing and jeering him. You know, has that changed from what you've seen so far in Blackpool? And do you think that it's going to change?
Blackpool as a crowd is much more darts knowledgeable and not prone to such sort of atmospheres, really, when it comes to the world match play. It's you know, they're a very knowledgeable darts crowd that comes to the Winter Gardens, and I've certainly heard nothing against Luke in this particular tournament. There is every chance, Max, that having won the UK Open this year and the Masters, and of course being reigning world champion, he could go through the entire year of 2026 holding every single major PDC ranking title, starting with this, the match play. It could move on to the Grand Prix, to the Grand Slam, to the Players' Championship finals. He's won the World Cup last month with Luke Humphreys. Everything, the fruit machine is just lining up for him every single time.
Do you think he doesn't practice dance? Because he says he doesn't practice, but surely you can't be that good without practicing.
Funnily enough, we wondered that because on the first night, the Stephen Bunting-Neil Zonneveld game went on about 20 minutes to half an hour longer than we'd expected. That gave Luke some extra practice time at Winter Gardens before he took on Nico Springer.
Yeah.
And that might have stood him in good stead. And of course, he went ahead and he beat Nico quite comfortably in the end on his debut, Nico, at Winter Gardens. He'll say he doesn't practice, and I'm inclined to believe him. You hear lots of players saying, "Oh, I don't care, I'm not bothered," and they actually do care, and they are bothered. But Luke is a very calm. He's not prone to outbursts or saying anything controversial. He just turns up, unpacks his dart case, and blows everybody away.
Amazing. Yeah, no, we love Luke Littler here on talkSPORT. And absolutely brilliant commentary, by the way, last night, Dan. It was brilliant to hear.
It was right.
Go on.
It was all right.
Well, let's talk about the EFL, because as ever, we are the exclusive home of EFL on national radio. Up to 150 live commentaries across the network. Not long until we've got Wrexham Borough in the Carabao Cup. I mean, wall-to-wall coverage of the EFL. Let's start with the Championship. Dan, your Birmingham are in it. I mean, there's going to be an extended playoffs. What do you expect from this season, particularly with the likes of West Ham back in the Championship?
Well, I saw last season as a unique opportunity for a lot of clubs who've been in the Championship for some time, because Leicester obviously went through the divisions. Southampton started poorly, did rally, and Ipswich started not brilliantly, but they, of course, did rally and are back in the Premier League. Normally what happens when the three relegated teams come down, they're strong and the others have to try and keep up with them.
Yeah.
So with that happening last season, it was an opportunity for clubs, some of whom took that opportunity, like Wrexham, getting into the playoffs, and some that, frankly, didn't, like Watford and Norwich. There's two examples of clubs that have been at the Championship level for some time now. You know, what are we, 3 Watford managers to Christmas now, something like that. And Norwich, actually, in fairness to Norwich, under Clement, the second half of the season, they were really, really good. And if they continue on with that continuity of performance from last season into this, then maybe Norwich are the kind of team that can worry West Ham and Burnley and Wolves coming down. I hear the stories coming out of Wolves about, training being disrupted by players. It doesn't sound particularly healthy and happy. For their sake, I hope that clears up.
Do you think that's an extension of the Rob Edwards stuff, Dance? Because I personally was quite shocked. I know that his relationship with the fans had been up and down in the Premier League, but I was really shocked at the fact that they'd not given him the chance. It felt to me he'd had a long run-up in the end of that Premier League season, a run-up to prepare for the Championship. And I was really disappointed that had happened. Do you think this is because of this?
Well, maybe. I mean, that's what we were all told, or the inference was that he was brought in with the knowledge that Wolves essentially were pretty much down, and that his remit was to rebuild the squad after player sales, ready for a crack at the Championship this season.
Yeah.
And of course, that's it's very confusing that that's what's happened.
Very confusing.
There's
yeah.
all sorts of stories about players refusing to train and things like that. That's not good. When you look at West Ham, though, getting Jared Bowen to stay at the club is massive for them. They're going to have a hole burning in their back pocket with the money they get from the sale of Crescencio Somerville. If it seems that Al Hilal are going to get their hands on him and sort of hijack the deal. And West Ham should be very strong. They'll have sellouts every other week at London Stadium. It's going to be a very intimidating atmosphere, even in a stadium like that a lot of West Ham fans don't like. So West Ham are the team to beat without question. But you would look at Middlesbrough, who just missed out. You mentioned them there. They're playing Wrexham with the Carabao Cup. Wrexham themselves, who keep on buying cleverly for the level at which they're at. Norwich, who I said before. West Bromwich Albion under James Morrison, maybe doing a little better. And with as you say, with the playoffs going down to 8th spot, goodness me, when you get to, you imagine it, guys, you get to February, March time, and some of the jostling for position that's going to be going on.
Yeah.
From say, it could be one of those ridiculous things where everybody's got something serious to play for the final 3 or 4 weeks of the season.
Well, that's how it works in the National League South, and that is what happens. You can be bad until about February and still make a run at it. So it does keep more fans interested, but whether or not it's good for going up to the Premier League, I don't know. What about Blues? The Blues dance, your Blues. I heard someone saying the other day, when Harry Kane retires, who's next off the rank? And someone mentioned Adam Stansfield. Do you think he's got that in him?
Jay Stansfield, you mean?
Jay Stansfield. I do apologise. That's his.
Well, Jay's been great for us, and he's played in a variety of positions. He is in England under 21 centre forward, so the opportunity is there for him to convert that into senior appearances. Managers tend not to dip into the Championship that often. England bosses, that is, to pick players. So that would feel a little ambitious on my part to wish that Jay could get senior caps for his country.
Have you seen that talent in him, though, that he could perhaps, if he doesn't go up with Birmingham at some point, he could get a move to?
Oh yeah, the fans love him. The fans are big on Jay, and they really love what he's done for the club and his wholehearted effort. I mean, the striking area was a problem for Birmingham City last season, and Kyogo Furuhashi looks like he's gone to LA Galaxy after a season where it didn't really happen for him. He had a shoulder injury coming into the season. I had people who watch Celtic a lot saying he's going to score a hatful of goals, and he just didn't. He 1 or 2, and that was it. August Priska came in January from Sweden, maybe with a pre-season under his belt. He will be a handful as a tall, rangy striker. Look, Birmingham are a side that, again, will sell out their stadium for every home game, and passionate home support. 10th place last season, pretty good.
Yeah.
From coming back up from League One, the fans will want more. The fans will want playoffs as a minimum. You can guarantee that. Yeah. But also, so do the board. So Chris Davies knows what's expected of him this season.
Dance, thank you so much for your time.
Brilliant, Dance.
Good luck for next season for the Blues.
Keep right on.
Absolutely. That's talkSPORT's Ian Danter Darts, commentator extraordinaire, and of course he'll be involved in the 150 live commentaries across the talkSPORT network. A reminder, Friday the 7th of August, Borough against Wrexham in the Carabao Cup. Wow. Thank God, though. Thank God there's been a quick turnaround. We need something to help us forget. And then Saturday the 8th of August, EFL gets underway. Adrian Durham, Mickey Graham, Ben Mee will be bringing you sort of all the action from live around the grounds. You're listening to Scott and Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Make the switch to Toolstation Trade Club and save 10% on all electrical and lighting when you buy cable and flexes. First stop, Toolstation.
I watched a lot of Marcus Rashford at Barcelona. I think it was a successful loan, Jeff. He played 43 times in the league and Champions League together, 13 goals, 10 assists. I'm just surprised teams haven't bid for him. I don't understand the Gordon transfer. I really don't. I feel Rashford's a better option than Gordon. He's 28. Is it the wages? Are we looking at someone that maybe his contract, if he's got a year left at Manchester United, the wages are too much for clubs to maybe sign him on a 4-year deal? Is he getting closer to that 30 mark as well? The contract will be something really strange going on there. But whoever signs him has got a fantastic player because he looks like he's in a better mind frame as well. I look at him before the World Cup. He's at Inter Miami doing extra training. At Barcelona, we hear nothing negative about Marcus Rashford. He's in a better headspace being away from Manchester. So if I'm him and I'm his agent, does he look at another club abroad to get away from any distractions that he might have back at home?
Do you think he may have to settle for another loan deal?
It's hard, isn't it? Because will Manchester United accept that? Because he's got a year left.
They may not have any options.
I know. Does this come down to the end of August, Jeff? End of the transfer window? And maybe it has to be because I...
Talk Sport.
I'm Ben Fletcher. Good afternoon. Manchester City have tied Phil Foden's services down for another 4 years. The 6-time Premier League winner has signed a new contract, keeping him at the Etihad until 2030. There's the option for a further 12 months as well. Morgan Rogers says he wants to bring the best version of himself to Chelsea after his £117 million move from Villa Park. He's thrilled to be back with his pal Cole Palmer, and he can't wait to show Stamford Bridge what he's made of. talkSPORT's Gabby O'Bonlahor says Xavi Alonso has one hell of an attacker on his books.
You've got a player here that can play anywhere in that front line. You know, he's got pace, he's quicker running with the ball, he's strong, he's got that physical presence, he can score from outside the box. He's great with his first touch and playing little 1-2s that he will with Cole Palmer. I think he's a game changer for Chelsea, I really do.
Thomas Eckert's been slapped with an FA misconduct charge for his part in the Spygate scandal. The Saints head coach has been charged with 3 breaches of Rule E3.1 between December and May this year. Posh owner Darren McCanton has told talkSPORT he should have been sacked to start with, but he's sad to see a career tarnished.
The real shame in this is he's obviously a top-class manager. Where he took Southampton from to, there were miles out of it when he came along and obviously took the team over. So he's obviously got a lot of talent. And just the dumbness of it all just surprised me.
Eckert has until Tuesday to respond. talkSPORT isn't expecting him to appeal. And Arsenal have signed goalkeeper Misa Rodriguez on a free transfer. The Spanish international has left Real Madrid for what she considers to be one of the top clubs in the world. There's more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT with QuickFit. Sort your new tyres this summer at a time that suits you best.
Let's go straight into the weather then. Cloudy with a chance of drizzle in northern areas, dry with sunny spells for most of us.
Good afternoon. 2 minutes past 3, Scott and Baker here on talkSPORT, and this is the section where you can call up and talk to talkSPORT about things you think talkSPORT don't talk enough about.
Do you know what talkSPORT never talk about? ... That's what we're after, isn't it?
So please get your calls in 03717 22 3344. We got some lined up, but if you want to call up and talk about something we never talk about, this is your time. So you can't complain that talkSPORT don't represent what it is that you want to talk about.
Do you want a few films before we do that? A few people have been texting in some films that you might have never seen, Max. Would you like a few of those?
We can.
Well,
do you know what this does? Do you know what this does, Charlie? It makes me feel like I have zero cultural capital.
No. Because these aren't films. These aren't like clever. We're not saying Bicycle Thieves. We're not saying the clever films.
Okay, go on. I don't know what Bicycle Thieves is.
Well, that's a very old film, Please tell me you've watched the Sly and Arnie classics from the 80s and 90s. The Rockies.
Yeah, of course.
This is
Rocky Balboa.
Of
course, I've watched them all.
Okay, yeah. First 2 Predator and Terminator films. This isn't me asking you. This is someone.
Yeah, sorry, I'm taking it out on you.
Yeah, don't take it out on me.
No, I've never seen Predator or Alien or Predator vs. Alien.
There we are. The Running Man, Demolition Man, and basically these are all the same films.
Okay.
Basically, they made one film and they went, people like that. People like people running.
What was the one earlier? Stocky Woodstock Stocky was one that came through.
Stocky Woodstock Stocky. Cannonball Run?
The Cannonball Run. No, you.
That's the best one.
Okay.
Honourable mention, The Princess Bride. That's good. They're not allowed to.
So spoilers already.
Spoilers.
I don't need to see it. But I feel like I'm getting.
And there's a penalty. Pele's in it. John Walk's in it.
Okay, I know about this film.
Okay,
but I've never seen it.
I think you should watch it tonight, Max.
Escape to Victory. And
why don't you watch?
Should we do a film review
tomorrow? Tomorrow we're back on tomorrow. Max is going to review for us Escape to Victory tonight, having watched it.
Okay,
I'm looking forward to that.
Evening plans. Asking if you're listening. Evening plans for us tonight. We're going to watch an old film about football.
There we are.
Leeds fan, Tony.
Okay. Hello, Tony.
talkSPORT never talk about what?
What a talk never talk about, Tony.
Okay, first time caller.
All right, yeah.
We never talk about the standard of refereeing and how poor it is in the World Cup, particularly with certain teams like Argentina. So we blame Tuchel, we blame the players, we blame the climate, we blame the elevation and the crowd and everything else. But if you go back, and I've gone through several matches in the World Cup, and some of those decisions that Messi got away with, even Jude Bellingham realised it, but we never seem to do that. All morning I hear about Cookie going on about this Tuchel and that, but never about the refereeing.
Look, I agree with you. I don't think that the standard of refereeing at the World Cup was what we would hope for from the Premier football tournament on this planet. However, I'm pretty sure I've heard lots of people talking about it.
I feel like we have talked about that, but I do agree with you that Messi got away with a lot more, especially that tackle in the first game where he probably should have been sent off.
Balogun got sent off for the same thing.
And there was the goal that Egypt scored that they went back and back and back until they found something. It did feel like they were, I'm not saying they were trying to get Argentina through, but is that what you felt, Tony?
Yeah, I did, because if you look at, so for example, Harry Kane was fouled in the penalty area when the ball came in, pushed right in the back, over and in the rib cage. He goes over, nothing's brought up. We would have gone 2-0 up.
Here's one for you, Tony.
Tuchel wouldn't then get all this flack. We'd have won.
Here's one for you, Tony. The Nico Williams' first, the goal that was chalked off in the final. Otamendi feels something on his right foot, dives and rolls around on the floor holding his left foot. And I don't know if you've seen, but Jed Spence, just before Argentina's winner in that semi-final, gets sort of Messi studs on his foot, and he gets up, but he's limping. Do you think that Jed Spence should have sort of rolled around on the floor to get the attention of the VAR? Or do you think that would have been pointless anyway because it was Argentina?
No, I think, that's a fair shout. But the thing is, it's very frustrating at this high level and fine level. You cannot have refereeing that isn't consistent through, because it's such a fine dividing line.
Yeah.
People's careers, whole countries get upset. You've had so many calls about Tuchel, but if Kane had got that penalty, I mean, there are many cases against Spain where I cannot believe the Argentinians weren't booked.
No.
I mean, it's absolutely crazy. First 20 minutes.
Are you a ref? Are you a ref? Have you ever reffed a game?
Only in the British Army, and they all fight anyway.
All right, there we are. Well, there we are. There we are. You talked about it. You said that we didn't talk about it, and you just talked about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.
03717223344.
James, a Southampton fan. James, what don't we ever talk about that you're bringing to the table?
Slight spin, really. Mine is for the fans and all the punishments. Obviously, big thing come up today about Tonda.
Oh, yeah.
How much punishment is a punishment? Like, do you know what I mean? We've got 200.
Are you a Southampton fan, James?
Massive, yeah. And like you said, we just had our 200 and something odd million fine, 4 points deduction, kicked out of the playoffs, etc. We all know, and it's just like, so, like, how much, like, do you know what I mean? There's got to be a point where it's enough is enough.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think you can't ban him. I think fair enough, if there's a fine, fair enough. The FA maybe need to make a statement. But in terms of In terms of, James, the actual punishment itself, in terms of being kicked out of the playoffs, etc., do you think that was a fair enough punishment at the time?
It's obviously he's come out and he's owned it, and so no one can say to me that anyone's lived the perfect life and made mistakes. And he's made a massive mistake, and he's come out and he's put his hands up, and he knows, and everyone else now knows, not to do that. I think being kicked out was massively harsh. Because what's not to say that we would even won and beat Hull, and then
I think you would have
because we would have gone into the Premier League and they can't touch us because it's a different board and they can't give us any punishment then. So and also it's a bit of a unbiased that one of those members of the panel was a Middlesbrough fan, so we were always going to be guilty coming out of that anyway.
So what do you think? What do you think the punishment should have been?
I mean,
because you have to. Punishment has to stop people.
There was spying happened.
Spying happened. We know that happened. So, what do you think it should have been?
When you had obviously Bielsa and he did it, and he like we said, his was against pretty much everyone in the league. Ours was 3 that was said, and we didn't even win those things, which is the biggest controversy of it all. We didn't even get anything of it.
Yeah.
So, but for a punishment-wise, us out of that, I thought we were going to get a hefty fine because they weren't sure if we were going to get points, if we were going to be staying in the EFL or anything like that. I myself was went a bit too bolshy, and I was thinking, no, we're going to Wembley, got my Wembley ticket and everything. But yeah, I think the punishment was massively.
James, yeah. You know what? Do you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to take the Frozen amendment. Have you ever seen Frozen? The kids' film, you're going to have to let it go. That's how you're going to go. You're going to have to let it go going into the new season. You have to go, right, fresh start.
Yeah.
We go again. That was last season.
Fair play, James. Good luck next season.
Good luck, James.
Phil's a West Ham fan. Phil,
Hello,
what do
Phil.
you want to talk about?
Phil, what do talkSPORT never talk about that you want to talk about, Phil?
I'll tell you what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, we're here. We can hear you. Go for it, Phil.
Yeah, sorry, apologies, guys. Well, I've got two things.
Go for it.
First one is why does no one ever
Why does no one ever talk?
Okay, Phil, we're going to come back to you. Line's not very good. Mark, the Plymouth... Chris, the Liverpool fan, in fact. Chris, what do you want to talk about, bud?
Hi, good afternoon there, guys. Huge fan of the show as always.
Good.
And Darren McAntony made a really good point earlier on where he talked about Ivan Toney and the approach that Middlesbrough have taken in looking to recruit direct from within the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes to the pyramid system, the element of those teams that are at the higher level need to also actually just to take a bit of realisation that in order for the pyramid system to work, that means that their scouts actually need to be a little less lazy and actually take a bit of a leaf out of what the same stance was with the likes of Ivan Toney, even all the way back to Jamie Vardy. He's like that diamond that was found, and we all know about the amazing success that Jamie Vardy brought to not only the Premier League and helping Leicester win it, but also the international stage as well.
So you think money needs to filter down because they need to go and find players from rather than buying players from overseas, for instance, they know about.
100%, but also the element of where they're going out towards, like strikers, for example, from Tottenham. Those future elite players are within the leagues within the EFL, and so much so, I think there's always this now imploring behaviour for ourselves to actually go out, buy the tickets and get down there. Well, if you take Peterborough United as an example, so whilst I'm a Liverpool fan, I reside in a little town called Bourne, which is just outside of Peterborough. Me and my kids go every single weekend. It's literally about £25 for me.
Yeah.
And then for my two kids, about 15, 20 quid each. We get the bus down. I get to have a cheeky pint and catch up with a couple of friends.
Yeah.
And then me, my daughter Grace, who's 11, and my son Joshua, who's 17, we go and we have a wonderful day.
Yeah. No, I will say Peterborough, I'm a non-league fan, and Peterborough do look down the leagues. They do famously take the best of the non-league and build them up. Thanks for your call.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
There's one more, though, because you were talking earlier about bowls.
Oh, yeah.
And
Can I just say, talkSPORT, Jack says, talkSPORT never talks about why Greggs stop doing ham and peas pudding stotties. It's a scandal. We've spoken about it now, Jack.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah,
we'll look into
good
it.
news, yeah.
Mark, Plymouth Argyle fan, you want to talk about bowls, mate?
All right, hello, Mark.
Yep.
Go on then, tell us.
Bowls earlier on, yeah.
Lads, you never talk about bowls.
Oh, we did earlier on. We spoke about it earlier on.
Well, that's why I phoned up, Charlie, because I heard you talk about it earlier on, but there was a couple of things you might have got a little bit wrong.
Oh, okay.
Well, firstly, it's lawn bowls that they'll be playing.
Not Crown.
Not Crown Green bowls. No, I think Crown Green bowls is more of a northern thing. And secondly, it's played by people of all ages, Charlie, not just the oldies.
Do you play yourself, Mark?
You play them up?
I play, yeah. I played for about 8 years. I kind of got injured playing football in my late 30s. But so for anybody who's kind of played football, cricket, love being competitive because it is very, very competitive, then lawn bowls is the closest you'll get to stepping onto a beautiful football pitch and carrying on being competitive.
That's a great call, by the way, because I, funnily enough, just moved to South London and I'm about a 3-minute walk away from a bowls club.
Get down there.
There's a lovely little pub there. So I've gone and had a few pints. And I've sort of looked, I've sort of observed keenly, thinking I'd actually quite like to do this. Yeah. So Mark, I'll let you know once I get involved at Peckham Bowls Club. Happy days,
brilliant.
Yeah, thanks for the calls, everybody. We are representing the masses, the underrepresented talkSPORT listeners.
Some people are saying this isn't what this show is for. We thought we'd open the lines and say what don't we talk about, and people have said Spygate. I mean, I think I've heard about 12 hours of that this week.
Refereeing.
I've
the
heard
entire
about
tournament.
And what was it? And getting strikers from down the lower leagues. I think we talk about that all the time.
Yeah,
but look,
the only real one was the bowls one. So the Plymouth Argyle fan there, I think it was Mark, saved the day. Right, you're listening to Scott and Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Open from 7 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Grab what you need. Get on site. Get it done. First stop, Toolstation. Up next, some transfers chat.
Talk about this story doing the rounds overnight about Pep Guardiola and Italy. Italy, of course, not part of the World Cup jamboree. Does raise the question, Kev, because we know now that there was a verbal agreement in place between the English FA and Pep Guardiola as recently as 2024. Obviously, that didn't quite happen in the end. If he is serious, Guardiola, about taking an international job, in the wake of that collapse against Argentina, is there an argument for the FA making a play now for Guardiola and deciding to pivot from Thomas Tuchel?
Yeah, look, I'd love nothing more than to see Pep in charge of our national team. And I think not only that, I think he'll give us something which will give us direction for not only just for the next 2 years, 4 years. He could help the FA within it. And, you know, I've been part of that. I know the culture and the DNA of what Thomas was talking about in, last week and what they're trying to achieve. But I think Pep could add something different. I think he's got something, he'll give us a style, he'll give us an identity of what he sees the game, how he sees it. And I think he'll be one who'll want to help everybody all down the line, if you like, the 21s, the 18s. I think he'll bring it all together so that it's all aligned and everything else, because I think that's probably what's needed now after Gareth and what he done, and was when everybody forgets a fantastic job what he done behind the scenes and everything else. We then went to Thomas to go and win us the trophy to get us over it. It hasn't happened. So if there's an opportunity now.
Anthony Joshua is on the road to destiny. But first, there is danger. Prenga, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. And AJ knows, one moment, one mistake, one punch will change history. AJ is back. But there is danger before destiny.
Good afternoon, you listen to Max Scott, Charlie Baker on talkSPORT. We've just done the phone-in of things we don't talk about at talkSPORT. Ricky's messaged in, why don't we ever speak about the disadvantage England had when we played Mexico at altitude?
Yeah.
And then Shy Ted in Maidstone says, you call yourself talkSPORT, but you never mention swing ball.
That's true.
Do you even know the current world champion?
Is there pro-level swing ball?
There must be. There must be. Dan Wattles is with us. We're meant to be going through some transfers, mate.
Any good at swing ball, Dan?
You a swing ball fan?
Massive fan, yeah, massive fan.
What's your tactic? Keep hitting it?
I think keep hitting it as
Keep
hard as you
whacking it.
can for as often as you can. Yeah, I've been lobbying for more swing ball chat for the last few years at talkSPORT, but still to no avail, you know?
Talk swing ball.
Dan, first of all, how are you feeling about the World Cup now the dust settled, before we get into some of the chat? Because it's still clearly a live conversation around Thomas Tuchel. I mean, how are you feeling after the semi-final, after the 6-4 win against France? Are you Tuchel out at this point, or do you think calm it a little bit?
I think the red mist descended for a while after the Argentina game. Probably about 4 or 5 days of complete insanity and just rage. But I think, and the decisions in that game were criminal. But I think, I sort of thought that Guardiola would be the best option. That, generally speaking, I'd rather prefer an Englishman anyway. But if you're going to go and get a foreign manager, get the best foreign manager. So yeah, I probably wasn't keen on Tuchel from the get-go. That said, there was some good football throughout the tournament. But realistically, I'd be more inclined to say English manager, and if not English manager, Guardiola. But what the FA will do about that, I think it's more likely to stick with him, right? So yeah. I don't know.
I don't mind where the manager comes from. I will say that. I do not mind where the manager comes from. But there is a but. The fact that no World Cup has ever been won by a manager not managing his own country sort of makes you go, there must be something in that.
Yeah.
Why are we trying to fix that?
I know.
Why are we trying to break that? But I don't mind.
And the best managers tend to have been, look at the two managers in the final, and the last two winners, Luis de la Fuente and Scaloni. They are not these sort of huge, ginormous figures in the game of football. They are, de la Fuente was managing the under-19s, almost like a Lee Carsley type figure coming through, with a lot of the players that then came through. He was managing Marino in that 2019, or the under-19 teams when they won the World Cup, I think, or the Youth World Cup. And I just feel like,
why can't we do that?
Why can't we do that? We tried that with Southgate, I guess, and people weren't too happy with it towards the end. But this idea of getting a tried and tested, proven manager, I can't remember the last time. Maybe Scolari was quite good at Brazil.
Also, there is no English manager putting their hand up.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'd imagine Eddie Howe's going to be available, but then, look, it's all hypothetical. And the reality is, as it stands, I'm pretty sure the FA are going to sit with Thomas Tuchel, particularly after that 6-4 performance over France in that third place playoff. Look, let's get on to transfers. A player that was, for me, a big talking point in the World Cup actually was Marcus Rashford, because he came on off the bench, he scored earlier in the group stages. Then he was basically nowhere to be seen apart from 90 seconds at the end of that semi-final. He's not got that move to Barcelona, which I think he actually deserved. And part of me feels for Marcus Rashford because he's been under so much pressure when he was at United. He was clearly not in a good place. He resurrected his career, had some fantastic performances for Barca, knew sort of his place in the squad. That move's not there, but there are links to some other Premier League clubs, Dan.
Yeah, no, there are a few circling: Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs. But I think obviously there's a release clause of Rashford for about 40 million, which excludes City and Liverpool. But I think that his preference and the club's preference is not to sell him to a Premier League rival if they have to part with him. I think also the situation has drastically changed since Michael Carrick's back with under Ruben Amorim. That was this idea that both him, Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox were inclined to try and move away from that and sort of turn a new leaf. And also the fact that he's on these astronomical wages, but he hasn't really been performing to the degree of a player that is on those wages. Probably a reason why Barcelona didn't actually go and extend that. Because, with Manchester United back in the Champions League, they don't get a 25% cut on the players' wages. You're getting rid of people like Casemiro, but if you bring Marcus Rashford back into the fold, that's 325 grand a week. That's working out about £19 million a year. And with UEFA's sort of rules and how you basically have to fit into their fit players into your budget with your spending, that's a lot of money that needs to be accounted for, needs to be brought in. And when you've got rid of all these players, to then have to be burdened with that, I think it's a challenge for the club. But Carrick played with him. Carrick's last game, I think he's got near base. It wasn't quite an assist, but it was almost an assist for Marcus Rashford, playing in Man United colours, and then managed him for 3.5 years.
So do you think that changes things in any way?
I think if Carrick was the only person making said decision, I think he would have Marcus Rashford in there.
Do you think Rashford would have that?
Yeah. I think Rashford would be more than happy to stay at Man United. I think Marcus Rashford, when he went to Barcelona, said the only other place I wanted to go was Barcelona or Man United. And there's already been some interest from Turkey, which he's apparently turned down for even more money than he's on currently in his contract. And I don't think for Marcus Rashford's brand, or maybe his own Man United fandom, I don't know whether it is brand or fandom, which way you fall on that. But come what may, I get the impression that Marcus Rashford would either like to be at Manchester United or at a big European club. And I think that maybe you can make the case that the only one that might be able to tempt him just because he's 28 and he can get in there and sort of, get on the front foot and really try and win some stuff is Arsenal. But, whether Arsenal are going to be able to pay that and whether Arsenal want him there. I mean, they are sniffing around, but again, whether Man United are going to sell him to strengthen them and weaken themselves. And on top of that, Somerville was one of the players they were looking into on that left-hand side. I mean, they've just signed Tyner Thompson, a young kid from Spurs, but Somerville is now off to Saudi. So I think it's a really interesting one, but I think from the Man United fan base is splitting it, and I actually think internally the club, they're probably split on it in terms of what Carrick wants versus what some of the senior figures behind the scenes want to do in terms of wage bill and budget and trying to make things that sort of balance the books, I guess.
Well, Tomine wouldn't try and tempt him to Napoli.
You never know. I mean, he's not Scottish, unfortunately, so he can't play for Napoli.
Scottish
only, I believe so, yeah.
Another big conversation post-World Cup that we've been having a little bit of fun with on talkSPORT, of course, is there are lots of Argentinian stars returning to England. Now public enemy number one, whether it's Enzo Fernandez, Valentin Barco, gone from Strasbourg to Chelsea, as you'd expect. Christian Romero, we don't know where he's going to be. But the future of Emi Martinez in particular is sort of still up in the air. I thought he was going to United last season. He seemed to give a big farewell to Villa Park at the end of last season. Didn't happen. What's the latest on his future?
Yeah, I think, it seems to me that the club don't really want to get rid. I mean, the sort of director of football, Damien Vidagani, said that he's insisted Martinez is not for sale. Well, there was a similar thing like the end of last season, as you say, and Juventus were sniffing around then as well. And Juventus is the club that he would be most likely to go to now if he were to leave Villa Park. But I think the reality is that, as you say, I mean, there was that kind of slightly tempestuous period at the start of last season with Martinez when there was, the classic why you starting Bizot and sort of that slightly peculiar interaction with Unai Emery in the press conference. So, look, I think that realistically, a lot of the sources in Italy, Sky Italia, saying that, they've agreed personal terms, because La Gazzetta dello Sport saying that, it's sort of reached breaking point and he's fallen out with Aston Villa. Whether that's the case, I mean, Unai Emery has shown time and time again that he's been able to sort of manage and reintegrate players in difficult dressing rooms. I mean, he's he's probably elite man manager. But I think, and it's a fascinating one as well, because of course Juventus are not in the Champions League next season, Aston Villa are. But I think perhaps just for his prestige, he wants to play at one of these big European clubs.
It's a tough old summer for Villa because, Martinez, who's, I've got loads of Villa mates, they absolutely love him. Yeah. He's heroic. Morgan Rogers has gone. And then Arsenal potentially, Tielemans gone to United, exactly. And now Ezri Konsa's being linked sort of to Arsenal, which you can understand what with what's his name, did his back?
Saliba.
Saliba's done his back. So what can you see that happening, Konsa to Arsenal?
Well, the thing is as well, I mean, the fact is with Villa, they've got a lot of financial constraints and they've been sanctioned by UEFA, which means that they then have to try and balance the books for the next 2 years. But obviously with Rodgers coming in, I mean, they've got Manzambi coming over, the Swiss international that shone at the World Cup. He's 20, really good ball-carrying midfielder. I think the one with Konsa is it depends to the degree to which, because ideally going into a Champions League season, they would like to start Pau Torres and Ezri Konsa in the two centre-back positions. I think the question will be whether Arsenal can get up to, say, that sort of 50, 60 million mark that the Villa want, because if they can get the money in, that then enables them to spend again. I mean,
there was talk of Stones as well for Arsenal.
Stones for Arsenal. I mean, it's potential. They're going to have to fill someone to fill that squad. I mean, they do have a lot of very good defenders, but the fact is that, competing on four fronts again as they'd like to go, I'm sure Arteta has big ambitions for this season. Stones would probably be a cheap one. You've seen him do it in the earlier part of Arteta's tenure with players like Zinchenko, getting them that City connection perhaps. And that one would make sense. It doesn't seem to be that advanced as of yet, but I think they're kind of trying to see what their options are. And we're seeing it across the board now where things are starting to go a little bit mental after the World Cup. I mean, the thing is with Villa as well, they seem to be trying to get Garnacho in because they are a little bit like going forward.
Well, Emery said to have really wanted him. And I know Garnacho, and I understand why he's, people don't particularly like him because maybe some of the attitude stuff we've seen in the past, but I just don't think you can write a player like Garnacho off.
22 years old. He's 22 years old.
And Unai Emery's an absolute class act. So I kind of think you've got to give some players a little bit of grace to improve. He's young, he's paid a lot of money. And just really quickly, because I've got to mention my beloved Forest, in advanced talks with Ousmane Diomande from Sporting. I mean, that would be an unbelievable sign.
It would be unbelievable sign. United was sniffing around him a few years ago. He was part of Ruben Amorim's team when he was there. He's been in the team of the season the last couple of years, 23, 24, 24, 25, I think. Really talented player. Went with Ivory Coast, the squad. And if you look at the fact that Glasnow's going to be wanting to play with the three at the back, and how good your two centre-backs have been, Milinkovic and Murillo, having him being able to spot on sort of in that right position, great with both feet, really physical, really good, and really young. The upsides of getting a player like that in are phenomenal. The fact that he knows how to play in a three at the back, the fact that he's kind of in and around his national team, I mean, he's incredibly highly rated. I think United were in for him with the first season they got Amorim in, and it was the sort of player that I think a lot of people are quite interested in across Europe. Yeah. So for us to get that one over the line, be absolutely phenomenal.
For me, it's massively important that Glasnow's been after him for ages. If Glasnow can get him in, I think it's really important for the relationship between him and Marinakis, because of course he'll have come in on the proviso that money is going to be spent. Dan, mate, thank you so much for joining us. Absolute pleasure. talkSPORT reporter Dan Walters bringing us the very latest from the transfer news. A reminder, you can head to our website, talksport.com, where we'll bring you all the very latest on the live blog of breaking news heading into the new Premier League season. You're listening to Scott and Baker on talkSPORT. Up next, comedian Mark Steele's going to join us.
I rate Aston Villa. I know the size and the history of the club. They're a big, passionate support. This is bonkers because I rate Emery as well. I have no idea what anyone at Aston Villa have seen in Alejandro Garnacho to think that he is perhaps a solution. I just don't understand it.
Talk to me about the player.
He's a reprehensible character. I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing.
What was that word again?
Reprehensible, horrible, objectionable. I mean,
Google.
Hateful. There's very little to like about him. I think that he's a man who's in it for himself. I've seen nothing to suggest that he's a player that he believes he is.
He's 22.
It doesn't matter.
No, both of you chill out. You're grown men. Hammering this poor lad.
He's not 16.
Poor lad.
No, but he's 22, and I get it. He's got all the riches in the world.
5 years at 22.
But I think it is overkill. He is a
not
good
overkill.
player.
No, it's underkill.
He's a good player.
I'm not intelligent
He's
enough.
in the Premier League for a reason.
I'm not intelligent enough
He's
or
been
articulate enough
considered
to
by
do
Villa for a reason.
justice
He's
to
been your
how
club for a
objectionable this bloke is.
Can you ignore her?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Can you finish?
I am trying, yeah.
Talk amongst yourself.
Okay, to any Villa fans, to any season ticket holder in that whole end, I tell you this is an error, a mistake, something that will haunt you. And it's a terrible, terrible statement for Aston Villa. He will disrupt your dressing room. He is not the player that people think he is. Do you know the kind of player that he is, really? He should be running the wing at Cadiz. That's the level of footballer that he is. He should be running the wing at Iber, at best. This belief that he is somehow a fantastic talent that...
Boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters, but it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the tax man at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like 5 grand, 10 grand for a 6-rounder or something because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
Anthony Joshua is on the road to destiny. But first, there is danger. Prenga, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. And AJ knows, one moment, one mistake, one punch will change history. AJ is back. But there is danger before destiny.
You call yourself talkSPORT, but you never mention sumo, underwater, horse polo, clay pigeon, wrestling, shooting sport.
We'll do it. I'll tell you what, a couple of weeks when there's been no Premier League, we will.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, once we run out of transfer,
we'll be covering that.
That'll be it. And look, I have to be on Clips of the Week, I think. I've been absolutely done by Ted in Maidstone. Shy Ted.
Okay, don't say it again.
No, well, I'm saying it politely. I've been absolutely done. Yeah, they've got me. Keep your texts coming in, by the way, 81089. We want to hear
from.
Yeah,
all sorts.
We've had loads, whether it's double egg yolks from Aldi, whether it's sort of times that you have refused to leave. Keep those coming in. And we're getting some texts as well. Bowls really has caught the imagination of the listeners, Charlie. You mentioned it earlier. We've had a caller calling up talking about bowls. And
lawn bowls, not crown. There are two different ones. So Crown Green Bowls has a sort of a curve on the top of the. On top of the
even harder.
Pitch. I'm saying pitch. I don't think it's a pitch.
On top of the lawn.
On top of the lawn. And then lawn is flat, but there's a bias in the ball. I'm out of my depth.
Well, Si says that he went past the lawn bowls games the other day, and essentially people are effing and jeffing, and they've been drinking too much. It's quite aggressive, he says.
Oh,
so that's even more reason for me to head down to Peckham Bowls Club and get involved. Brilliant stuff. Look, we've been talking a lot about transfers. Steve Harmison is going to be joining us in a moment and talking about. But interestingly, Newcastle are only ever in the transfer news at the minute when they're selling players, Charlie.
I know.
But do you feel sorry for these big clubs that aren't necessarily seen as the so-called big six? As a Torquay fan, someone that sort of understands the sort of turmoils that a club like that can get into, do you have any sympathy for these big clubs, state-owned clubs that can't buy any players because of the rules?
The PSR rules seem to be not fit for purpose, whatever they are. They don't seem to help the teams that need it, and they don't seem to help the teams that don't need it. Yeah. So, and the money doesn't filter down the pyramid. So the teams that need money at the bottom, it doesn't come down to them either. So whatever the PSR rules are now, they're not working. They need to be looked at and they need to be changed. Yeah. Because I'm not saying yes, you should be allowed to buy anybody you like, no matter how much money you've got, because that way, you lose lots of different teams. But they're not working the way they are, because the way Villa and Newcastle, sort of more mid-table teams at the moment, have had to run their summers, have been...
Yeah, it totally kills the ambition. Totally kills the ambition.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that every Newcastle fan we speak to talks about that, and delighted to say that legendary English cricketer Steve Harmison is joining us now. Steve, I mean, Steve. You've heard us sort of lay the foundations there. It must be so frustrating as a Newcastle fan that all you seem to be able to do is sell your best players.
Yeah, good afternoon, gents. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's quite bizarre because, like Charlie's saying there, people I've heard PSR, but people don't really understand it and how it works. And, we've sold so many players. Aston Villa have sold so many players, but every year we seem to have to sell players to get people in through the door, where I'm not seeing any of the big six so-called clubs having to sell any players. They just keep having to be able to buy everybody that they want to buy and not the consequences. So, I mean, I agree that in the Premier League, or in football, you do have to have rules. But I think once you get to the Premier League, really all gloves are off. If you run your club badly, your club's not going to go out of business. It's going to drop down the leagues. The likes of, Sunderland were there in the past, Leeds were there in the past, Portsmouth have dropped and not been able to come back. If you can't sustain and you're poorly run, yes, it's hard on the supporters, because it's the supporters that suffer more than anything else, because the players are off, the managers are off, the owners are off, but supporters are still, by and large, still there. And if your club wants to spend on players, your supporters are asking them to spend. And it's the tough times that really annoy me. The back end of last season, I'm biased because I love Eddie Howe. I think he can walk on water and the way he's gone about his job in the last 4.5 years. But when Eddie Howe was getting the stick he was getting towards the back end of the summer, and some of it was quite toxic.
Harmy's dropped out. I wonder if we'll ask Harmy in a second when he comes back. He says he adores Eddie Howe. I'm assuming that's because he bought him a trophy for the first time in a long time. I wonder if he thinks he's good enough for the England job.
Yeah, Harmy, is that something you're worried about? I mean, just before your line went, you were talking about there was a bit of sort of some toxicity around him. I think some comments from the CEO around the future of Eddie Howe didn't seem particularly confident. Are you worried that if he doesn't get off to a great start, and with potential questions around another England manager, that he might not be long in the seat at Newcastle?
No, I hope not. I don't see. I think Eddie's a day-to-day man. I think he really enjoys working with the players Monday to Friday to get them in a position, and I think he's proven over the course. I think the squad's proven, and Newcastle United as a football club have proven when they've got Saturday to Saturday games and no distraction midweek. We are a force towards European places. I think when you throw in the European football every other year, because likes of Aston Villa and ourselves and one or two others, they're under the PSR restrictions, we find it a little bit difficult because our squad depth is not great. But I think Eddie Howe enjoys that. He enjoys that more than potentially working with England. I hope his places his job is not under scrutiny. I really do, because I think he is one of the best things that's happened in Newcastle since with the takeover and everything that goes with it. But the CEO didn't help him. Some of the comments the CEO made about Newcastle United and where he sees Newcastle United, I was like, a memo to the CEO: do you realise what Newcastle restrictions are in the current football climate in the Premier League before you make statements like that? Yes, you want sound bites, but boy, you've just thrown your manager under the bus. And I think that hasn't helped the toxicity towards the back end of the season for Eddie Howe. I think this season we should be a lot better in that front, and it's a little bit of a rebuild. Guys, Newcastle is going to be a rebuild. Whether Grimares goes,
well, that was going to be my question, mate. Like, Eddie Howe's job's not just been made difficult by the financial landscape, by comments from the top brass, but by the fact that they're having to sell. Tonali's gone after I think the way that the club treated him during a really difficult time in his life was exemplary. And now, Arsenal sniffing around Guimaraes. So he's got his hands tied behind his back at the minute, Eddie Howe.
He has. And I think what he'll say is he works day to day with the players that want to be there. I think Alan Shearer said it. I think there's many other Newcastle legends have said it. We've just lost an absolute icon from our football club. And you listen to the way Kevin Keegan spoke about Newcastle United Football Club and what it means to the city and the people in the city. If you don't want to play for this town, this city and these fanatical supporters, then go, off you go. Somebody else will come and take your place. And I think from that point of view, the Tonali one, I thought was a decent deal for everybody.
Yeah.
If he wants to go, let him go. 100 million, we'll take that. I think it was the right time for Anthony Gordon to leave. I think he was starting to get some stick. I don't think was all fair on him. I said because Anthony Gordon was asked to play on the left, the right, through the middle, which is not making an excuse for him. He had some good days and bad days. I thought it was a decent move for all parties. The Grimares one's an interesting one because financially, what the number would be whether it's 80, 90, 100 million for what he is at Newcastle.
Yeah.
I think what he is for the club and the supporters and the city. I think the value on him is priceless because of the big moments he has and what he's done since the minute Bruno has come in the building. I think he will take some replacing the whole package and not just the footballer. I think that would be a difficult one for Eddie because whenever Eddie was in or Newcastle were in a little bit of a hole or a bit of trouble, Grimares tended to be the one that dug them out towards the end of the game.
Yeah. You don't need any other players. You got Big Dan Burn. You don't need any other players. Just chuck him in.
I mean, but we'll rebuild. Charlie, we'll rebuild.
Yeah,
we spend the money. We'll bring players in. We only play Saturday to Saturday. there's a depth of a squad there that I believe in the manager, the coaching staff, that, you know, Newcastle are going in the right direction. It might take a step back to go forward again, but if Gomes goes, he goes. I'm sure they'll invest that money wisely. I think Elanga will be better this year. Wissa looked a lot better during the World Cup, and a good preseason will hopefully stand him in good stead. And with a couple of other signings, I mean, at the end of the day, Newcastle United will be a force to be reckoned with, and I think in the top half of the Premier League next season. And if people don't want to play for us, then they can go.
Harmy, a message of positivity, which is great to hear from a Newcastle fan. You say the club's going in the right direction. Similar questions being asked about the ECB after the fallout with Brendan McCullum, Ben Stokes. He's only gone and got a ton in his first game. I thought he was only going to play county cricket, but he's got a ton in the 100. I mean, he just never stops delivering, Ben Stokes. And I can't help but feel, as an England cricket fan, that of the three people really at the centre of English cricket in Rob Key, Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes, he should have been the one that survived. Sadly, he's not. But what's your reaction to what we saw yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one because he actually, it wasn't 100, he got 100 in. He got 100 in the Metrobank 50 over competition, which, I mean, 3 months ago, there was talk about Ben playing in this. This is more of a development competition. It goes on parallel with the 100. So you get a lot of senior batters playing it and a lot of younger bowlers playing it. But it's by and large, at most counties, the senior players get a little bit of a rest during this period if they're not playing for the 100, playing 100. It is, you're right, 100% right. The ECB is a mess at the moment. And if you ask me at the end of January, that if there was one person to be staying in position, it would be Ben Stokes and it wouldn't be anybody else. Ben Stokes, I understood why he was going to play in this 50 over competition a month ago, because it was going to be his preparation towards a Pakistan series in the test matches against Pakistan, because he wasn't in the 100. Now, I'm not so sure what the goal or the achievement is by playing in this, other than he's playing cricket. He wants to play cricket. He's not in the 100, so he wants to play in this Metrobank competition. I'm not going to argue, because he's playing for Durham. He's playing for my team. It was a brilliant 100. I watched quite a lot of it. So, yeah, hopefully for the younger players around the country to get a chance to play against Ben Stokes, and I get a chance to play with Ben Stokes if you're obviously at Durham. But what's happening at ECB Towers is a mess. Yeah. And I don't see it getting any better or clearer anytime soon.
Harmy, I just hope that what we saw yesterday, there's still maybe a little chance. Charlie.
Just for the Ashes. Just a little. Just not as captain, just come and have
an Ashes cameo.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I'd love to. I'm with you. Come on, Ben. Get through this summer. Have a bit of a break.
Yeah.
Get some form at Durham at the start of the season, and let's be ready for Australia when you come back. I've known Ben Stokes a hell of a long time, and he's very, very stubborn. I think it's the end. I don't see Ben Stokes coming back.
Fair enough. Well, look, Harmy, thanks so much for joining us,
Harmy.
mate. Absolute pleasure.
Pleasure, gents.
Steve Amson there giving us a lowdown on the cricket, on the tune, and positive as well about Newcastle, which you don't hear from a lot of Newcastle
all the
fans
time.
at the minute.
No.
So we'll see how they get on next season. You listen to Scott and Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. First stop for everything for the job from 7 a.m. Monday, Saturday. Start strong, start it right. First stop Toolstation.
What do you make of the transfers? And also Madison's back. You know, maybe Kulusevski coming back as well. You got some key players back as well.
I'm excited. I really am. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with the team. It looks like he's got some real kind of men in. You know, like with Tenali and Robertson, people who are going to, like leaders on the pitch. I think that's what we needed. You know, it seems to me like he's going for a type of side who are going to have some energy in the middle of the park. With a bit of experience and kind of like a bit. I want to see a bit more like Housery from us. Do you know, like a bit like Arsenal have done. Yeah. You know, a bit more like know how to win, and because we've been a soft touch, we've played some decent games, but then like we'll throw away goals and points at the end of the game.
And
so
it's time to embrace playing in that outstanding stadium.
Yeah.
Getting a home crowd on side.
Good stadium,
Don't fear playing there like they have done for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Like embrace it and make it a fortress.
Yeah, I'm happy with what we've done so far. We've still got to figure out what we're going to do on the left. Like the left wing for me is an issue. Who's going to play out there? No, we don't want Garnacho.
You want to take over?
No, you take Garnacho, mate. He's a good player. Take Garnacho.
He's good. You have him.
Oh, I think he's a good player, mate.
Why didn't you outbid us? Outbid us, mate.
I think that if we sort left wing out and maybe look, Richarlison's not the future for me with Spurs. I think if like Richarlison for me we should try and get rid of him. I don't know if we can.
Anthony Joshua is on the road to destiny. But first, there is danger. Prenga, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. And AJ knows, one moment, one mistake, one punch will change history. AJ is back. But there is danger before destiny.
Last section, last 9 minutes of Hawksby and Jacobs with me, Max Scott, alongside Charlie Baker.
Who's on next, Max? Who's on next?
On next, we've got Drive with Andy Goldstein and Troy Deeney.
Oh, what a show
That's going to be an absolute belter. So stay tuned for that. But just a reminder, the latest episode of the talkSPORT Daily Podcast is now available. You can join Sam Ellard and Ben Jacobs as they take you through all the latest transfer deals and rumours, including Crescencio Somerville hijacking Garnacho to Aston Villa, and of course Morgan Rogers confirmed as a Chelsea player for a record British fee.
Chelsea were prepared to pay the asking price, and with no add-ons, not much negotiation. Once you say, we're going to give you this amount of money. In addition, I would say Arsenal didn't really dither. They just had a set valuation of 80 million and they chose not to pay it. But this is a statement signing. And again, my expectation is that Rodgers will be on the left, Palmer will be through the centre, Estevao will be on the right, João Pedro will lead the line.
Good attack, Ben.
Or Xabi Alonso trials 2 10s and then Palmer and Rodgers can both play in that position.
In a 4-3-3, so Caicedo will sit and you think Rodgers and Palmer could play in front.
3-4-3 potentially.
In a 3-4-3,
in a 3-4-3, you have to work out how you fit in Enzo Fernandez into that team. 4-2-3-1 is another option, and in that kind of scenario, Enzo Fernandez could be used deeper as he was at Benfica.
Remember, if you want to hear more, tune into the latest episode of the talkSPORT Daily Podcast, available now on your favourite podcast platform. This Morgan Rogers thing has fascinated me, and at first I was so surprised Arsenal didn't just break the bank and try and make a statement signing as champions. But Chelsea got their man, and I think that it's a better move for Morgan Rogers. And we're going to head to the phone lines now because we've got Chelsea fans calling up about this. Alex, Chelsea fan. Alex, what do you want to say, mate? Good afternoon.
Oh, you're right, guys. Big fan of this show. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure, mate.
I think that it's a great signing. I think it shows that we're putting trust in the manager, which is what we've needed to do. They're actually giving him more control. The fact that he's friends with Palmer, you're asking for the chemistry just to spark off from the get-go.
Yeah.
Enzo, I want him gone. I think a lot of people think the same. Asked me 6 months ago, I would have said keep him. After flirting with other clubs, let's get rid of him. Shed the dead weight. Have people that are dedicated to the badge, dedicated to the club, that want to play the football that Alonso wants to play and wants to build what he wants to build, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Alex, I totally understand why Chelsea fans, even before the World Cup, wanted Enzo out, because it seems clear to me that he was caught in other clubs like Real Madrid and he wants out. Has his sort of behaviour in the World Cup deepened those feelings amongst Chelsea fans that now it's even more so you want him out because of the way he behaved?
Definitely, 100%. We don't want that association to drag the club's reputation down. We want people to boost our reputation and to make us look good and to make us the team that we have been for the last 20 years. I'm 27 and I've grown up watching Chelsea's success. And seeing us now on the downfall, it's humbling. I'll admit that, it is. But in the same breath, it's also a nice fresh breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
The fact that now this manager's come in, he knows what he wants, he knows what his game plan and what he wants to do moving forward, and he's just got to enact on it now. And let's see what happens in the season. But in all honesty, I think that we could possibly do something this season.
No, I agree, mate. You got one game a season, no European football.
No Europe, no nothing. Let's focus on the league, focus on the FA Cup, and maybe possibly get a trophy at the end of it.
Morgan Rogers said he's joined the biggest club in London. Are Chelsea the biggest club in London?
100%. When Arsenal have won in Europe, they can come back and enter the chat. But until that happens, let's be honest. We've won 2 of everything. What more could we want?
Alex,
what
brilliant.
What more could Rogers want from a club?
I knew it would get him.
Alex, love it. Thanks for the call, mate.
I set the bait, Max. I knew it would
yeah.
come. I knew it would.
I mean, it's the obvious answer. Are they the biggest club in London? No, actually. I think Arsenal are. William is a Chelsea fan. William, you've just heard Alex there talking about he absolutely wants, obviously buzzing about Rodgers, but he wants Enzo Fernandez out of the club. Where are you on that?
I'm looking at how Alonso's systems in the past, and I got to be honest, I'm not sure if Enzo's necessarily going to fit that typical mold now that Rodgers is there. I'm not necessarily directly with the other fan that I want him exactly out. And listen, I think with football we're also critical, and obviously as English fans, and he's passionate about Argentina. The World Cup brings out a load of emotions, and I'm not gonna absolutely criticize. Was I happy about it? No, but I'm not going to say that. Listen, he's a quality player when he does play. I just don't know if this new system is going to suit him, especially with Rodgers, because I think that he's going to use him between the left and in the centre with 2 10s with Palmer and Rodgers now, rather than the old system, which is like Palmer up front on his own with Caicedo and Fernandes behind.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
And I think also as well, I'm still a little bit more concerned with like the wingers options, especially the left winger, because if Rodgers specifically going to be on the left, last season we really struggled when teams were like locked in at the back, especially like going to 5 at the back, and that we really struggled to break teams down. So if we're using Rodgers and Palmer to try and do a bit more of the creativity, I almost want another sort of left-sided, more dominant winger.
Hey, look, Alex. William. Look, without a doubt, I know everyone's getting excited about Rodgers, but this won't be it. Chelsea are going to go big, and we were talking about finances earlier. They've made a lot of mistakes. Chelsea as a football club, they've spent a lot of money on players they don't play, the players they don't need, but they're still allowed to spend.
They've still got 7 goalkeepers, Max.
Yeah,
and not one of them that's any good.
Yeah, they're not going to have any trouble getting the players they want in this season, particularly with one game a week. Charlie, mate,
yes,
it's been an absolute.
Oh, a lovely time, Max.
Yeah. And
do it again tomorrow?
We'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, great.
So we'll be back tomorrow, 1 till 4. But coming up next, it's the boys on drive. Andy Goldstein alongside Troy Deeney. We'll see you tomorrow.
You're a Chelsea fan, Tim. What's your view on Enzo Fernandez?
Yeah, I mean, this season I've been a huge fan of what he's given us on the pitch. He's a great player to have. He's always popping up with one of those classic goals from just outside the area, sort of just runs in, smashes it in. Lovely to see, can't complain. But in the World Cup, the way the guy's conducted himself on the pitch is just absolutely disgusting. I'm just thoroughly embarrassed that he plays for my club. The way he's just been flying into tackles, that one in the final when he got sent off, him dancing around on the pitch with the Falklands banner, it's just disgraceful. I want him gone. Let's just cash in.
Tim, can I say I totally take your point on those parts there, especially the Argentina parts. But with everything that's gone on with Chelsea, especially this season, where at times you've been a bit of a laughing stock under the Liam Rosenior moment, seemed to come to my mind and seem a little bit soft. seem a little bit soft. Is it wise to get rid of the one player with a bit of bite, even if he is to all the other things you just said?
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying there.
Yeah.
And it's a really good point. And I've got to say, it's one that's quite difficult to answer. I guess it would all depend on who you replace him with, you know.
And you've been doing really well at that, haven't you, at your club, replacing people.